Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well on this Tuesday.
Yeah.
It is Tuesday, right, Peyton?
Mhm.
All righty, everyone. We got a lot to discuss, including the storms that happened this morning, which, by the way, you're still here.
Yeah, no, I did leave to go shower and eat, but
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that tornado warning at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's right when I woke up. I was like, "Is it? What's going on?"
It's been a long
So
one.
I booked it down there. Helped Josh out with the stream, and then Josh and I started covering tornadoes in the Springfield area, like Springfield Metro.
Yeah.
A few stations were out, like their tower got smacked around. So we were covering that. A lot of people were thankful. A lot of our viewers in Southwest Missouri were thankful that we were covering for their friends and family that were in the Springfield Metro.
Yeah, because the storms are so strong, they knocked out some of the TV towers. In
Yeah,
fact, they
crazy.
damaged some of the TV towers, which, of course, is going to knock you off the air. So, we've got the rain tie on, as Brendan Wilson says. Please keep that rain tie on and don't change it, please. I really question the severe weather potential.
Do you have a flooding tie?
Overnight tonight? This kind of is the
That
flooding
is?
tie.
Alright.
Yeah, it's just basically
Big raindrops.
a lot of rain, big raindrops. So I only wear it when we have flooding. I don't wear it every time we have rain or thunderstorms. But let's talk about, first of all, what we've got going on. So let's talk about the tornado warning that was issued this morning. And a couple of things we want to mention, Peyton, is number one, we did a segment on our newscast about straight line wind damage versus tornado damage. It's a graphic that I made. It's a graphic that can be used multiple times.
Yeah, can be used whenever.
And can be used whenever. So it's what we call like an evergreen, basically an evergreen graphic that you can use at all times. Let's show you that, first of all. And we're going to look at the radar data because it's a little uncertain if it was, in fact, just straight line winds or maybe a tornado that came through a little tornado. But anyways, let's talk about what we've got going on as we look at, first of all, this complex of storms that's off to the west. But let's start off with the type of damage, Peyton. So this will kind of give you an illustration of what straight line wind damage is versus a tornado. So first of all, we're going to look at straight line wind damage. And a lot of people wonder, what does that mean, straight line wind damage? Well, first of all, this is the radar information from this morning. This is not the high resolution radar. We will show you the high resolution radar here in just a bit. But at about 8:25, 8:15, 8:25, storms came into the Gravette area. That's what you're seeing on the screen. I don't have cities because keep in mind this graphic could be used for any location that has straight line winds. But if we look at this at the ground, you're going to notice what's called, straight line winds. So the winds are all coming from one direction. Now watch what happens as these winds start to pick up a little bit more and more. Those trees get knocked down, but they essentially get knocked down in one direction. So when we look at it from a bird's eye view, you'll see all those trees are knocked down from west to east. Damage spreads out in one direction. Trees uprooted, pointed east. Straight line wind damage. So there you go with straight line winds. It's kind of easy to see when you're looking at the damage. What's more difficult is the tornado damage. And so tornado damage, as we look at this, is a little bit of a different animal. So here we have our tornado that's starting to develop, and this is a top view. So if we look at it near the ground, here comes this tornado. First thing you'll notice is that the winds are starting to get sucked back into the vortex. So this is called the inflow jet. And the inflow jet happens ahead or behind the tornado. So the winds are going against that straight line wind damage. Here comes the tornado as it moves through, and you can see those trees are knocked down. This happens pretty quick, obviously. Think of the storm that came through northwest Arkansas and the Fayetteville area on Easter Sunday. That produced that damage. A lot of people said, man, it was just seconds, and it happens really, really fast. So let's see this from a top-down view, essentially, from looking overhead. Notice how those trees are knocked down in all different directions, unlike straight line winds. So here we have an example of trees that are pulled back to the west. That right there, Peyton, is a telltale sign of tornado damage, because remember, straight line winds are all going in one direction, and if you have a storm moving from west to east, you don't have any trees that are being pulled back to the west. So I don't know what the damage is like in Gravette. I heard there's some examples of trees that are twisted. And so let's see here what we had. So Kendall says, I've seen some pictures of the trees. They almost look twisted. Sometimes straight line winds, as it snaps and kind of rolls over stuff, it can also look twisted.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a twisting to obviously the tornado. So here's an example of where that vortex came through. So this tree is pulled back to the west. This tree is pulled back to the southwest. Roof damage on the north side of a roof would not happen in straight line winds, especially if it's peeled back to the southwest. So you want to look for a convergent of wind pattern, meaning are the arrows pointing into a central location? Because in this case, the trees have been uprooted in all different directions. And even though there's a tree that's pointed to the east, that can happen as the tornado comes through and you get what's essentially called the inflow jet. Watch as I show you again in slow motion here as we take this off the screen. So on the backside of the tornado, you get these really strong winds that are sucking into the center of the tornado. That can cause that tree to become uprooted. And so look again at the top-down view, trees in all different directions, convergent wind pattern damage. This is indicative of tornado damage. So now the question is what does the survey show? Will it be surveyed?
Right, yeah.
I don't really know, to be honest with you, because the Weather Service has not determined if they're going to do a survey in Gravette. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but they can only be in so many places, per day.
Yeah.
So they were in Collinsville, which is northeast of Tulsa, which then no doubt they found tornado damage. There's pictures of them from this morning.
Yeah.
Springfield, Josh, you were on that storm this morning. You and Peyton were on that storm. So no, I'm not saying Josh. He's not watching, obviously. He's asleep. Peyton, you and Josh were on that storm this morning.
Wicked.
The reason I got that wrong is...
Saw Josh?
No, I didn't see Josh. I was looking for... let's see here. Interested to see if it was a tornado in Gravette. Lots of trees down on houses and cars. You can still have that with straight line winds. High school let out. We personally bad debris in our yard, and my favorite oak tree is down. So now, Morgan, here's the question. And a lot of the trees are probably cut up already, which is the forensic evidence. Are there any trees that are pulled back to the west?
Yeah.
Because that right there will tell you if it's in fact a tornado or not. Mitchell says we need to do a segment on scud clouds. Yeah. Scud clouds are also something that are definitely something that we need to do. We need to just do segments on everything. So, Kimberly, we're going to get to the forecast, so just hang with us. But straight line winds can also snap trees and also snap branches and actually snap trees in half. So all that can still happen with straight line winds. However, not when the trees get pulled back to the west. Here's one more picture or one more comment from Terry. So what I was going to say is that you and Josh, Peyton, were on that storm this morning,
right? Which,
by the way, they confirmed a tornado.
Yeah, they actually had two. There was the one that we actually covered briefly, and the first one I saw them confirm was south, just outside of the Springfield Metro, and we're like, okay, we didn't really see that one. Yeah,
northwest of Verona. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the one that we saw.
Oh yeah, no.
That was the one that we saw, but the first one they confirmed was like straight south of Springfield. But the one we were covering, and that never went confirmed. It was always just tornado warn, but it had CC drop, a PTDS show up. So we were like, yep, that is a tornado. Southeast of Freistadt and northwest of Verona.
Verona, yeah. So thank you so much, Terry, for that. Now, let's look at the radar here. This is from this morning, and here's the storm coming in. We'll look at a more high-resolution radar, too, but, man, that storm ripped through. And then, throughout the day, boy, we saw a lot of cloud cover. We saw a lot of rain. That kept the temperatures down. Mitchell said something about, the atmosphere is overworked.
Yep.
Too bogged down with severe weather for overnight storms. I tend to agree. Now, keep in mind, though, you can still get elevated storms, but as far as the tornado potential, I don't see that happening. We don't have any surface-based instability, and honestly, we may not even get severe weather. But I am
Severe weather
expecting
right now.
rain. Yeah, there's actually not a whole lot of storms. Still a lot of lightning. Remember, lightning doesn't make a storm severe. Now, here's the storm that came through Southwest Missouri. Look at this. This is just a beast of a.
The whole thing, it was a dead end choke.
Yeah,
I'm saying it like so long.
for the
Oh,
damage path. Yeah,
Like the same line right here brought damage out towards State College in Pennsylvania,
it's a long-
upstate New York
it's a
that had
long ways
tornado
away.
warnings.
It's the same exact one.
Everywhere in between,
We'll show you
it was
that.
one stop.
But
for severe weather.
but there's a look at that tornado that was again in Lawrence County.
Mhm.
They had it, and then now this they have southeast of Verona. Was it southeast or was it northwest?
I thought it was northwest.
I thought it was too. That's where I saw the CC drop. Sometimes the locations of these tornadoes don't match up with where the damage actually was. So let's see here. So they have. Whoops. Let me zoom out here a little bit. That was a
was
really
big.
long discussion there on the local storm
Very
reports.
thorough.
So let's do this. Let's go here. Let's read that whole thing. Oh my gosh, can't even see it. So NWS survey, EF1 tornado near Highway 60 between Verona and Aurora and ended in southern Aurora. So it ended in southern Aurora. That makes sense. Just west of Highway 39. Path length of 2.18 miles and a width of 100 yards and a maximum wind speeds of 90 miles per hour. The tornado damaged the roof of a church, caused minor damage to several other structures, and uprooted many trees. So,
That's weird. I was like not that close to where the CC drop was.
well, we can look at the archive. It'd be kind of interesting to do that. But you got to remember with these QLCS tornadoes, they are rather tough to discern. All right, so let's look at that's low resolution radar data. Let's check out some high resolution radar data. And so before we get to it, we're going to switch to archive mode. Archive mode, which is what I did on the newscast tonight. And as we're doing that, we'll look at some other stuff. Joseph says, awesome information, Dan. That's going to be very helpful with that QLCS. Brief spin ups. Was it a tornado? Was it straight line winds? All that stuff. Will Clarksville be getting anything? Yes. Storms are expected. Honestly, how much are we going to get in terms of the potential for severe weather remains to be seen. Now, this is archive radar. You'll see that on the screen. But this is the two circulations. These are the two circulations that we're really watching this morning. And so if we kind of pan down just a little bit so the banner doesn't cover that. Look at that circulation near Grove. Two distinct areas of rotation. And another one north of J. Now, there was damage associated with circulation near J, and I think that honestly was a tornado. You could see the rotation very clearly there. If we step along in time, this was, by the way, at 8:03. Now, we're stopping it right here. Tornado warning was issued for Benton County. We are getting a lot of information from people and comments from people saying, I didn't get the warning. I didn't get the alert. But you got to remember that you have to be within the polygon. If you truly have a polygon warn system, meaning you'll only get an alert or a warning if you're within the polygon. So what that means is if we zoom out here just a little bit for the time being, and we look at this in Benton County, I'm going to put this on just one panel. So here's a look at the tornado warning that was issued at 8:05 in the morning. 8:05 archive radar data. We're not having any storms right now. We will, though, later on tonight after midnight, and I'll get to that. But Bentonville, not included in the tornado warning. Pea Ridge, not included. Decatur, not included in the tornado warning. Gentry, nope, too far south. Salem Springs, not even close. XNA, nope. Cave Springs, not in there. It's only within this very, very small area that tornado warning was in fact issued.
If you have weather call.
Now, yeah, that's the thing.
Only weather call warning in the polygon. I live in Lowell and I got a warning.
So you got an alert
because Benton County was included in the polygon.
Benton County's included in the tornado warning. So the weather radio, guess what? It can't do site-specific polygon warnings. Right. The technology is not there. I wish it was. It's not. So What does this mean? Well, if you want to be more precise in your warning information and you want to know if there's a warning in your area, there's really only one service that is the go-to, and it works like a champ. And you know what that is? That's Weather Call Next Gen.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, this is a game changer. Weather Call Next Gen. Let me show you some of the things that this offers. Okay. So it offers hyper local alerts. What do we mean by that? That means you get calls, texts, and emails to subscribers that are only within that storm polygon. So sometimes warnings pop up pretty fast.
Yeah.
Josh Rugger was all over it because he was already launching the stream at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yes, it took a couple minutes to get on the air, as typical, unless you're in the middle of doing coverage with the newscast or something like that, and then you're on already. So calls, text, emails to subscribers only within the storm polygon. Tornado confirmation calls. There's not many other services. Let's say this is a tornado warned storm at 8:05, and at 8:15 they confirm this tornado. Most services won't let you know that it's now a confirmed tornado. Weather Call Next Gen does. It will call you and it will alert you if there is an observed tornado or if the tornado warning radar indicated has become radar observed or spotted. That's key.
Yeah, that's definitely key to get that confirmation.
Yes, that helps you realize, hey, I need to take this seriously. Extreme thunderstorm alerts. Now, this is an example of what happened in Springfield. That was what's called a destructive severe thunderstorm, where you have winds that are in excess of hurricane force, which is 80 miles per hour. A 74 miles per hour or greater makes it a hurricane. Yeah. But I'm saying 80 miles per hour is essentially an extreme thunderstorm. Look at how it caused 30,000 power outages. 50. All right, even more. 50,000 power outages in the Springfield area. That's a lot. Now, for those that live rurally, how about those landline phones? I was talking to someone today that had a landline phone. Rural locations with poor cell service, you won't get those alerts. And if you do get the alerts, sometimes they'll be 10, 15, 20 minutes old.
But you do get the call to the landline.
Yep. So that's very, very quick. You want to know something that's very, very slow? What do you think that might be? What's a terrible alerting service?
Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. And I'm talking to you, Facebook, and probably going to ban me and probably prevent my posts from being seen by people. Yeah, like literally not even show my stuff anymore. You need to work on your algorithm, dude. That's all there's to it. Because
during the 9 o'clock
something.
Newscast, I got my tornado warning.
Look at this.
Yeah,
this is Peyton's phone, and look at that right here.
I won't even focus.
That will.
But there you go. I got the post from Dan saying that the tornado warning was. It was like a tornado warning has been issued for your coverage area, and that was 10:17, and it was 8 minutes ago. So it was 9:50 something.
That, by the way, is your girlfriend.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, 3 minutes ago, and this was screen captured at 8:17. There you go. A tornado warning has been issued for portions 3 minutes ago, Facebook.
3 minutes ago, yeah.
Which was at 8. Let's see, that was at 9. Yeah.
No,
9:17.
That was at 9:50. 10:15.
Yeah. 10:15. So it showed 3 minutes ago, and I was like, screen capture that.
14.
That's garbage.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah. So as far as this morning, if you were in the polygon, regardless, you should have gotten a warning from the National Weather Service. However, if you were in Benton County, you probably got one too.
Well, look at this. Thanks for the coverage, Dan, my friend. And by the way, thanks for the coverage, Josh, Peyton. I was on there too. I was commenting. I was showing some damage reports and stuff like that. But my friend never got a call this morning and is signed up for BC Alert. So
I've heard there's problems with that.
Sometimes. There are a lot of problems.
That's why you need to have multiple
along with
ways
code
to
red.
alerts.
Yes. So try Weather Call Next Gen. Scan that QR code. I promise you won't be disappointed. Here's what you can do. You can screenshot this stream or if you're on a computer, you can basically scan that QR code. That will take you to the sign up page. Now, you've heard the saying, you get what you pay for. All right. If you're going to get a good coffee at 7 Brew or, you don't like 7 Brew? Not a 7 Brew fan? No? I like 7 Brew.
I do like 7 Brew, but I just like a cup of black coffee. That seems like it's hard to get a 7 Brew.
Yeah. Well, I just like hot chocolate. But the deal is like, if you're wanting a good cup of coffee, you're going to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is $1 a month for subscribers. If you want lightning data, it's just a little bit extra. It's about $15, $50 a year. So we're talking $1 a month, $12 a year. I'm telling you, it's the most amazing service that you can get, and it's fast, it's quick, it's easy, and it sends you the all clear too. So sign up for Weather Call Next Gen. There's going to be a lot of people on here that are talking about it. So there's also Next Gen that is $12 a year, a better lot than local alerts. Plan to looking into it. I promise you, check it out.
So worth it.
It's very, very, very much worth it. Crowder College in Neosho had damage. So these are some comments that were about 10 minutes ago. Did you cover Southeast Kansas? We did not cover Southeast Kansas, but Josh was, as he was on the air, he was talking about those storms on Fox 24 at 7 a.m. Okay, so there you go. One weather network is claiming a derecho today, and nothing said about it. Well, we'll see what happens.
There were 500 plus reports overall, 483 wind damage reports.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. Let's see this thing crank.
Let's do this.
From Northwest Texas all the way to upstate New York.
Let's do this. You got to tell me. So this is probably something we should post on Facebook. It might get attention. But anyways, here's a look at the storm at 7 a.m. Getting pretty rowdy
It
in
already
Southeast
gone through
Kansas.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, no, that the tornado that happened was, as you can see right here.
Yeah, but the system was going before that.
There's Broken Arrow. There's Tulsa. I got to zoom in. Where is Collinsville?
North, right?
Yeah, it should be. I guess it just doesn't show. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Collinsville. So there was a tornado there. There's a storm ripping through really, really fast. And by the way, there's the tornado report. So if we go here, there's the information. Not quite as long as Springfield's report, but anyways, all right. So go into this, and I promise you, just bear with us. We will get to the forecast for tonight, which, by the way, is questionable. It's iffy.
There's a reason we're not like showing it right now. Because there's much to show.
Yeah, there's really not a lot going on, but we do expect more storms tonight. So we will get to that in just a bit. But there's a lot to cover before that. So here we go. Here's the line coming through. Look at how the 0 to 3 kilometer Cape really started to ramp up in southwest Missouri. There's some wind damage reports. There's the line coming through Springfield.
Jeez.
Now watch this. Confirmed tornadoes with the black area. Kind of lacking reports there, maybe because it moved through a rural area, but then you can start to see the damage cranking back up. So here we go with the storm. Now we're moving into Perryville. I'm going to zoom out here a little bit, and we'll check out this storm as it continued to move northeast. Look at all that wind damage all along the line. And, oh, you know what, Peyton? That damage right here was actually not from that line.
That was already there, huh?
That was already there from this cluster. Now, this is probably going to be a derecho.
Oh, that thing. Okay.
Yep. Which, by the way, was this morning.
So it's not the same thing.
It's not.
Oh.
Yeah, see that? That looks like a derecho.
Yep.
But then you come back here, and that storm did weaken. Yep. Not going to be classified because you can see it dying out, which makes sense because it was sapped. Okay, so that leads us into our forecast because remember, there were storms that already came through there. See that right there? So with those storms coming through, guess what? These weakened.
Yeah.
And that is a perfect segue into our forecast.
Yep.
So before we do that, let's get to some more comments here, and then we'll get caught up, and then we'll get to the forecast. So here's that. I get both. Next gen is a tad quicker. It is. We got approximately 50 trees uprooted 2 miles northeast of Jay this morning.
Whoa.
So, Julie, I believe that. Now, here's my question. If you were watching the stream earlier, are those trees, any of them, laying to the west? This is why it's important to know the directions that these trees are knocked over or uprooted. And then you said, yes, it was. Trust me. So crazy morning. I did get my yard mow this afternoon. Bit wet of a sprinkle. So McDonald, Newton County, Missouri, straight line winds or tornado. I feel like there could have been some tornadoes mixed in there. And here's why. We can go back to our radar, go to our archive, shall we? So here's archive radar. Whoops. And we're going to go back just so people don't think it's current radar.
Yeah.
Here we go with archive. So we'll look at this circulation that came through southwest Missouri. So let's move along. And there you see the circulate. Look at that spin near Tiff City. So that doesn't last long. Then it dies out. And then you see it moving northeast. And look at that circulation down by Neosho, south of Neosho. That's tornado damage, probably. That's pretty strong circulation. It's co-located with the reflectivity. Probably not going to see a the big PTDS because that's going to be from Tulsa's radar, just so high up. But there's the circulation, and then that rotation ramps up even more. And then this is what
finally
ends
does
up.
get warned.
Yeah, it was warned before that.
County.
It was warned before that. Go back, you'll see they were on it pretty quick right there, south of Neosho. Bam, they already had the warning out.
News out of here. We have some range folding.
Yep. All right. Well, we're having some people drop off because they're like, just give us the forecast now. So I get it. Hail expected in Fort Smith tonight. I'm not sold on it. By the time it was on the air, it was over. It was a very short fuse tornado warning. There's no doubt about that. You got a weather call. Awesome. I saw the wind directions change, and I knew it was a tornado. You're right. Okay, how about that? Storm Shield gives you alerts based on your exact GPS location with the polygon. That's cool. Well, now, wait a minute, Randy. Where were you at? Because that's what we just talked about, where the tornado was located, the tornado warning. Tell me where you're at, Randy, so you can comment. We're only 10 minutes ago that you commented on that.
And if you were the polygon, then we'll give them the feedback.
Got to renew my weather call. It is very worth it. It sure is, man. At one time, we would get phone calls from Benton County Emergency Services. So, a lot of things change, a lot of alerts change, all that stuff. Turn down the ringer. But you'll also get texts as well. That's what I love about Weather Call Next Gen. It also texts you too. If you're seeing a warning in the county before you and it's coming your way, take immediate precautions. That's right.
That's what I always do anyways.
This would be good if I had a cell phone. You don't need a cell phone. Aha. I got a Weather Call Next Gen text for Cave Springs, but it was only severe thunderstorms. I got my husband on 2. I haven't figured out how to pay to get another 2 lines for the daughters. Brooke, I've got your contact information. I can help you out with that, all right? How does the cap look right now? We'll look at that. How do you sign up? All you got to do is scan this QR code. We can go back to it real quick.
As far as the website, I think it's like weathercallnextgen.com/KWA.
Yeah, the services. Yeah. It's a pretty long URL, and so that's why essentially we just have this. I'll show you the URL here.
But for someone that doesn't have like the QR code or whatever.
Yeah, I'll show you that. Here you go. So you can scan that QR code. I will put the address on there right here. So it's weathercallservices.com. /KNWA
Oh, yeah,
next gen. We should probably maybe just put that in there, huh?
Yep. Drop it in the chat.
Yep. We'll just drop her in the chat, taking you right to it. And then we'll get to our forecast. But here's the deal. We're overworked, man. Our atmosphere, it is not primed for severe weather. Now, it is primed for rain, and I do think we see additional
A
rain.
lot of it, too.
Yeah, and I think tomorrow, late afternoon, is when we see a lot of rain as well. So code red, that's awesome that you've got that. Great to have a source of warning. I would caution you because code red does have problems with with alerting sometimes, especially when the phone system can get bogged down. I'm not trying to be impatient. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm in the right channel and not on the one that close to cover my area. So
I think that was Southeast Kansas. I think you was talking about Southeast Kansas earlier.
yeah. You got to be, live is good. So live is good. Live notifications on Facebook are good. It's 1:14. Wow. So that's shows
live notifications are great, but all the other stuff is
no
not
call
great.
on next gen. We don't know, Randy, where you're at, so we're gonna find out. Everyone needs next gen. When Peyton was talking, you could see Dan's mouth move, but couldn't hear until Dan got off.
Huh.
A couple seconds.
So it's lagging a little bit.
Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag. Yeah.
Weird.
Don't do that. Yep. Good deal, Julie, especially with what you had too. Randy's still saying, I just want to know where you were at, Randy, because if you're in Bentonville, you're not going to get a call. I have a friend in Gravette who definitely got hit by a spin up. Roof shingles torn on a trampoline down the block, fences demolished. So here's the deal, Austin. We talked about it, and you can watch at the beginning of the stream. You can still get all that stuff with straight line winds. Fences can be knocked down. If they're all in one direction, that makes it straight line winds, not just a band name. Are we expecting a tornado tonight in Rogers? Absolutely not. Nope. We're getting caught up on the comments, and then we're going to get to the forecast so we can tell what's going on. What's the coverage area in this station? That's a good question, and we are going to show that. Let's show the coverage area, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a DMA map, a real good one here.
Oh, there you go.
Here you go. What is
What is that?
overlaid on top of that?
I've never seen that.
I don't know.
A tornado contour.
That's weird. Yeah, I'll show this one instead.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a look at our DMA nexus, in case you're wondering. So this is Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Those are the three states that essentially we include in our weather coverage area, and the counties that are included are shown on the screen. So Benton, Carroll, Boone, Washington, Madison, Newton, in the far northwestern and western portion of Arkansas, Delaware, Adair, Sequoia, LaFleur. Now, here's the deal. Tulsa, probably you're going to get Tulsa stations in Delaware and Adair County on satellite and on cable. Sequoia and LaFleur, you're going to get us because that's technically our real DMA. However, because people are watching from Delaware going into Benton County, that's where the storms typically come from, we cover them to give people situational awareness. While it's not our true target area and our true, our weather coverage area, our designated market area, it's still, we include it. Boone and Newton County is also another tricky one because according to the true DMA, Carroll, Boone, and Newton are not included in our weather coverage area. However, because our transmitter is located basically, and I'll show you exactly where it's at, our transmitter is located at Posey Mountain, which, by the way, we got a weather camera there. Got a great view. Terrain is really good. The coverage picks up in southwest Missouri, McDonald, Berry County, in parts of Delaware County, in Boone and Newton County. So that's why.
Allegedly Stone and parts of Taney County, too.
That's why we do that. So I love my storm shield. Cool. I have to look into that. Does it call for, for confirmed tornadoes? All right. Let's see here. Weather call services. So next gen is a service. It's not an app. That's what makes it nice. Is a service is more reliable than an app. Apps are great, but man, sometimes cell service just is terrible. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the forecast and what we're expecting throughout the night. Shall we, Peyton?
Yeah.
So let's begin first of all with Mega Doppler. There's a lot of thunderstorm activity that's popping up, and that thunderstorm activity is obviously going to be moving eastward. And while this is transitioning to a heavy rain threat, I have my doubts on severe weather potential. And for good reason. It's just because if we look at the satellite and radar, there is a frontal boundary that is south of us.
Probably stationary by now,
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
So, Christina, it's not out of the question that the River Valley sees the potential for some storms, but not necessarily tornado potential in Northwest Arkansas. That dropped off too, didn't it? On the latest,
it did.
That severe weather threat. So Robert says I follow NWS on Tulsa. Great source of information. But remember, Facebook is going to be only at the mercy of the Tulsa will be only at the mercy of Facebook's algorithm, which is not good. It's just trash. Tracy says, "What's up?" I know you're going to ask about tornadoes in the fort, but this is the thing. Look at how that boundary is way south of us. So it's south of the River Valley. It's south of Fort Smith. In fact, let's do this. Let's stop it. Let's look at the latest, and then we're going to look at the surface winds. And there you can see that frontal boundary is basically draped just south of Scott County, I think, personally.
Yeah.
And look at how the storms, when they're developing, they're just not very strong. They're falling apart. And then look at all this. Look at all this storm activity. Pretty intense, and then it just broke apart. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to be a noisy night tonight, as we'll look at the future radar in just a second. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be a whole lot of lightning. As far as tornado potential is concerned, not seeing it. But we still have more energy that's moving in. A very, very strong low-pressure system that's off to the west. You can see the upper level spin. Anything to the ahead of that is going to be some pretty intense lift. That's going to lead to the potential for some heavy rain. So let's see what the models are doing with this storm, but with this system. Look at all the flood warnings and the flash flood warnings.
Considerable
Even
flash
considerable flash flooding, observed flash flooding, you name it. There's a ton of it.
Yeah.
It is a big coverage area, Kendall. That's why. Well, here's the deal with that, Brandon. The Northwest Arkansas area is covered by Tulsa, and Tulsa's DMA includes 7 counties in our weather coverage area, or their CWA, their county warned area. So let's look at the computer models, take our camera off the screen, and see how this storm system evolves. So thunderstorms rolling in at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's slowed down a lot.
Yeah, that's the hourly now. So that shows you thunderstorms 2:30 in the morning. And then additional storms popping up, but this looks a lot weaker.
Backed off.
This is a lot weaker than it was. And that makes sense. We're cloudy.
Yeah, we have been all day.
We haven't had a lot of instability. Now, do we see a lot of rain? Well, that's because we've got this additional storm system coming in, which by the way, you saw that giant upper level low. Now, this is where the storm threat really starts to ramp up during the early afternoon. Will there be severe weather potential? Yes. Look at the strong southerly flow that's developing in southwest Arkansas.
Pretty strong.
See those southeasterly winds?
I think there's a tornado threat for far southwest Arkansas.
Yep. And I also think a tornado threat for areas of southern LaFleur. And drum roll, please. What do you think? We'll say it at 3. 1, 2, 3. Scott County.
Reliable. All reliable.
Which, by the way, is exactly why we've got this camera.
If there's
right
not
here.
severe weather
Clutch
in northwest Arkansas, the River Valley, it will be in LaFleur and Scott County.
Fizzle alert. We've been saying it's going to be a fizzle alert now
all day because we were saying the atmosphere is so overworked.
Yes. And what was interesting is the Air Force was issuing a lot of the SPC outlooks today. I don't
Yeah.
know the understanding, or I don't know the reason behind all that. But anyways, yeah. So let's take you through the rest of this forecast here. There's a look at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think things do ramp up because we will get a break in the action. Maybe it still storms and then we don't get any instability. There's a look at the storm activity coming through, and look at that. That's some extremely heavy rain.
Yeah.
So finally, that big low pressure system will come over the area and will move in and move out. So, good question here from Heather. Heather says, did you get the Gravette High School camera up and going? Did not, but I did talk to the assistant superintendent today over the phone, also sent an email, and they're going to talk to Jeff Gravette, the superintendent of Gravette Schools. Hopefully we can get this online. Because the thing is let's see if in fact the camera is back online. We just can't get the live feed. See, it works.
Online,
It's online.
But we can't get the feed. Huh. I get it, like schools gotta have protections, security stuff.
Yeah. Let me show this real quick. This won't show you much, but it is our Gravette weather bug. And keep in mind, this is in the night. But
doesn't show the IP or anything, right?
No, sir. We're good there. So we'll go to main menu. We'll go to
Share functions.
yes, sir. And then
Share
open
screen.
screen share. There we go. Window. We'll share the Chrome tab. So share. And then there it is. So this is the Gravette WeatherBug Network camera. The problem is we can't get the live feed because that requires ports to be open, and the ports don't get opened by the state IT. The local school wants to do it, but I mean, there's so many other cameras that we have working that hopefully we can get that live feed, because that would have came in absolute clutch
perfect
today, but unfortunately didn't work. So now Lone Wolf has something that he wanted to comment on here, which, by the way, sometimes it feels like we're the lone wolf here in the weather lab. We do have a great team, and I think my coworkers are just like, they want to help out for sure. Now we're talking about the news side of it, producers, Doug, and by the way, we got a new co-anchor that's going to be starting here pretty soon. So in May, cool things coming. Lone Wolf. So this is because the area is covered by 3 radars in Tulsa, Springfield, Little Rock. There is no need for one here. I strongly disagree, Elizabeth. And here's the reason why. The radars might be covering the storms, but the average beam height of the lowest tilt is only 4,000 feet above the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Only. That's pretty high.
Pretty high.
4 to 8,000 feet is our average beam height. I can't even count on all 10 fingers and all 10 toes and have it be enough for the amount of times that we have QLCS tornadoes come through
I bet.
that are not warned or that go undetected. So, Elizabeth, we need a local radar. We need a local radar bad. And we're going to work on it. It's going to take an act of Congress, literally. But Corey, not my son. No.
What?
No. Hey, you know what? I'm going to take that as a compliment, because that means that I look pretty young. All right.
Could be.
I guess he could be.
I could be your son. My parents are only 1 year older.
Oh my goodness. All right.
No, meteorologist Payne Langford here.
There you go, Randy. We finally got the answer. Guess what? You were not in the warning.
You were not in the warning. Like Maury.
You're not out of there. He's an up, by the way. He's an umpire.
I was thinking about Maury.
What?
You are not the father. You are not in the polygon.
Maury Povich.
Yeah.
That's right. We got the results in, and you are By the way, let's go ahead and we'll bring that up on Mega Doppler Archive.
Yeah.
Oh, Corey, good question. That would be the infamous May 26, 2024 severe weather outbreak, the Decatur tornado, which is 1.82 miles wide.
And it's the 11th widest in the nation.
All right. So, Randy, you didn't say you got a call from Weather Call Next
Where
Gen.
is it?
It's right there.
There we go.
Go back. So, here's what we're going to do. We are going to go here. Now, this is how precise it is. We're going to go to archive radar. So the Bella Vista, Chelsea, Beckett area. So let's see. I know Chelsea is on the east side of Bella Vista. Yep, Chelsea Road, Lake Windsor. All right. So it's going to be zoom in right here, right there, south of Annsburg, and then you can put it up there. Oh, you know what? It's not going to work because you have multiple radars open. So, yeah, that's one of the problems. But there's Lake Windsor. You can see Chelsea.
Chelsea Road right here.
That is Chelsea Road right there. And zoom out. There's the polygon west of you. So you shouldn't get a call because you weren't within the warning.
Hope that clears things up about weather call, too.
Yeah.
In case you were wondering.
I think I had that on the screen. Go ahead and we'll do it one more time.
What's up?
I don't know if I had that on the screen for sure or not.
Oh. So it's right here, Chelsea Road.
And Beckett Road. Let's see here. Yep. Okay, so Chelsea and Beckett, I found it. It is, go southwest. Keep going. Right there. Put the cursor right over it. There's Chelsea and Beckett. We zoom out. And polygon was west of you. That's the eastern extent of the tornado warning polygon. So that's how precise it is. That's how
you know if you need to be concerned or not.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, the warning was dropped really quickly too.
Really, the next frame.
Yeah,
it's dropped.
Drop, but maybe a tornado went through. So radar is expensive in the millions, and monthly maintenance isn't cheap either. Nope, it's not.
No kidding.
Highlands got a call, and I'm in that area. So let's go to the Bella Vista Highlands. And that's on the west side.
Go back.
Yep. So zoom in. It's right around here, the Highlands. Yep. There's the Highlands Golf Course. And you
got a call.
Are in the warning. So that's why that works. So for our northwest end of the area tonight in southwest Missouri, should we be on alert? I don't think so. And now here's the deal. You can still see thunderstorms. There still could be some small hail. As far as tornado potential, I don't see that happening. Flooding potential, that's going to be a concern. I agree with that. I understand. No, I get it. I get it, Patrick. It makes perfect sense that Gravette wants to make sure everything is connected, that's secured. But it doesn't take 8 months to do that. Yeah, that was a big tornado. Nope. X and A actually would not be a good place for a radar, and I'll tell you why. It's actually down in a valley. We've looked at it. We did a site survey on this, and
don't show all your cards.
Well, I'm already going to say it's not. That's not.
Oh, yeah. X and A is not a great place. It's in a valley.
It is.
There are much better places.
Yep. I'm not saying where.
Right.
right off the tip of Lake Windsor. Yep,
Mm.
we showed that. Ooh, Kevin Scran. What about the tornado? So Kevin Scran, what's going on? This is the guy that does work on a
Yeah.
lot of our cameras and fixes them. What about the tornado from Fort Smith in the early 1990s? It would be 1996.
Yeah, the one in '96.
Yeah. So that was a F3 tornado. We do have the archive. You want to load it?
Sure.
All right. We'll let him get that. West Side, Chelsea. Yep, we got that. No, I don't think so until tomorrow afternoon. That's correct. I'm not sold on tornado potential here.
What was the date?
That day was scary. There's still a bunch
April
of trees
21st,
down.
right?
So April 21st,
What's the
1996.
time?
You're going to go about 3Z, so 230 to 5Z. Go 230 to 5Z. How often do you get tornadoes down there? What would you say? We get about in the state, we get about 37 tornadoes on average. Yep. Everything is weakening. You're right. It was a weird polygon. If we zoom back out, show that polygon again real quick before you go to the archive. There's a reason for that polygon the way that it was. Now, what do you think the reason might be?
I mean, I know the reason.
I'm asking Corey if he
Yeah.
knows. What's the reason the polygon looked like that, where it's kind of a little bit higher on the
Where
western
it
side,
excludes Southwest Missouri.
and it does not include this area right here? What was the reason for that?
See if anyone knows.
Fayetteville's safe to sleep tonight. So you will be woken up by thunderstorms. There will probably be some elevated instability. There could be some small hail,
Yeah.
and there could be some strong winds, but as far as tornado potential, I don't see it.
See if there's any hail right now.
Nothing.
All right. We go to the archive.
We're going to the archive on that tornado. So are the storms overworked and how it worked? Yeah, so that we overworked the atmosphere. Mount Olive Road. Now that should be okay. So hold on, Alyssa. We're going to be getting to that in just a second. Do the storm motion from the circulation because that was a beast of a storm. This is archive radar again, just to let you know. I'm going to take off all the warning information.
My goodness.
Now here's the thing about this, all right? There was concern that this tornado wasn't seen from the radar in Tulsa, which is this storm on April 21st, 1996, by the way, Kevin Scranton, is one of the storms that caused the radar at SRX to be installed.
Yeah.
But you can look at archive radar data, and this is a pretty strong circulation with this supercell that was coming into the southwest side of Fort Smith. Now, you look at that. First of all, you don't get all the structure of the supercell, but even the radar data shows a TBS. The normalized rotation is pretty strong, and that's coming through basically the southwest side of Fort Smith, the west side of Fort Smith. It goes right down Garrison Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
There's the tornado. It went right through there. And look, that's the circulation. That's pretty strong circulation.
Yeah. It went through Van Buren.
Now, the reason I loaded up a little bit more is because there was a lot of uncertainty with the St. Paul storm, but the radar didn't show. Did we go any farther?
I went to 5.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty raging supercell that went through St. Paul and southern Madison County. So we'll load up more archive with that. Yeah, because I know I have it all the way through. But see the range folding that's happening? So there's so much range folding that you can't even really see that circulation. But geez, look at that. Pretty intense rotation there. There you can't see it at all. But right there you can. So that was the circulation, and that was a pretty strong tornado too on the south side of which actually, by the way, was a deadly tornado. This is April 21st, 1996. This is not now. That's archive radar data, and we're doing that for Kevin Scranton. So Memorial Day weekend was wicked, man. Absolutely wicked. Grove, Oklahoma was hit hard around 7:30 this morning. Damage throughout the town. Absolutely.
Believe it.
Can you show the one that hit Memorial Day weekend in Pyatt? Man, yes, we can, as a matter of fact. We were on that storm. That was a wicked, wicked storm. So here's the deal, Stanley. You're right. There is a lot of moisture. We've got dew points in the mid 60s or low 60s. I got to look at
60s,
that.
I bet. Like maybe
He's
62,
saying
63.
67. Oh, dew point. Let's look. You know, the atmosphere can recharge and re-energize. That's why we're going to be watching it. See, the dew points are in the low 60s.
Pi is so far. I don't know what radar to use.
Oh, you got to use.
Springfield,
No. You want to
Pi's
use.
all the way out here.
Yeah, you want to use. You want to use Springfield. We
Yeah.
should have that archive. Now, I do think the atmosphere is going to lock and load tomorrow during the early afternoon. There is one thing to note that's kind of interesting. The thing to note is look at this boundary that drops south. I think this really changed the game in terms of the thunderstorm potential. See that boundary dropping south? That really went through and caused just basically everything to be undercut and overworked.
Mm-hmm.
You can't load up too much data, remember.
I only went from 7 to 9.
Okay. Oh, yeah. 2 hours is too long. Can only be an hour and a half.
I was thinking 2.5.
But we'll take a look at this and we'll see how that evolves. So let me show you this for timing. For those that are wondering about timing, we'll look at future radar, which is basically worthless nowadays. Here's a look at that 70% chance of rain overnight tonight. It starts ramping up after midnight. It drops off a little bit during the late morning and then ramps back up as the thunderstorms are moving through. And then you can see those storms dropping out.
Yeah.
We can do that real easily, actually.
Yes.
Probably deserve it too. All right. Well, anyways, here's the 100% chance of precipitation during the early afternoon. Siloam Springs can go to bed for now. Yeah, we're going to look at the current radar here in just a bit, but there's a look at the timing of that rain. It drops off. Everything disappears as we go into the afternoon tomorrow. Let's look at some future radar. Let's check this out because this really hasn't been my friend lately. Just because it's so bad.
It hasn't been anyone's friend.
It hasn't been very good.
No meteorologist, no.
There's
no
all this
storm
subtle
chaser.
energy. There's the bust that happened yesterday with severe weather. Here's a look at the storms.
Rogers can go to bed, James. You'll get some heavy rain and thunder a little bit later on tonight.
Yeah. But the good news is that if it does get bad, guess what? We'll be on it. We'll watch it. We'll keep you updated. All right. Here's a look at that energy swinging through. And then, as you can see, just a round of storms. That doesn't look significant to me. Okay. But watch what happens during the afternoon tomorrow. We get a break. It still will be cloudy and cool. This, by the way, the 3 kilometer graph. Here's the 4 kilometer graph. Take it for what you want. Grain of salt. Not super impressive. And then you can see additional storms coming through. This is a pretty quick round, by the way. I don't buy that at all. One of the things that you'll notice is the graph really struggles mightily with what's called stratiform precipitation. So this is rain that's behind the leading edge of the line, and essentially what it does is it causes additional heavy rain that the models don't pick up on. And so here's an example of something that doesn't show any stratiform rain at all.
Yeah.
So guess what? We scrap it. That's not a real good model. So we'll look at a different one. Here's a look at some storms. Southwest Missouri. Someone said Joplin is getting rocked right now.
Rain.
With rain, yeah, and lightning. There's some thunderstorms coming through, but I'm just not overly impressive. And then more thunderstorms during the afternoon. Now, this shows storms coming in at around 2:30, and I think that's going to be our likely time for the heaviest stuff tomorrow. Here's another future track that goes out a little longer, and this does a better job with that stratiform rain. See that? Behind the leading edge of the line, which, by the way, just to be careful, those can have some pretty wicked lightning strikes.
Yeah.
Where it's not raining real heavy, and then all of a sudden a giant bolt from the blue comes through.
Call court, you can go to bed.
Yeah. Hey,
Great sleeping
Joel,
weather.
good to see you, my man. He was giving a lot of information on that
Some of the damage out
on
there.
that damage. Yeah. And by the way, stick around because I'm going to show you, if you haven't seen, the difference between tornadic and straight line winds. That's okay.
All right.
Night
Don't
owl.
go to bed.
Yeah.
Stay up.
All right. Pyatt. I'm going to go back to this. This is a comment that we had. That's Steve saying, I don't, tornadoes, man, they're wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see it anymore? Right here.
There we go.
Okay. So this is for you. This is archive radar. But this, by the way, is a pretty wicked storm that was from May 26th. This one supercell to remember, which, by the way, is the title of our Emmy nomination. So we're nominating that for an Emmy. We're seeing if we're submitting it for an Emmy. We'll see if we get nominated. So that's hopefully our Emmy submission that could get nominated. We'll see. But going back to the archive radar from that day. Whoa. Here we go.
Did you change the date and everything?
I just removed everything. Yeah. So this is the storm that was in Pyatt and Olney. And so zoom in, look at that circulation. Excuse me, Albee, not Olney, Albee. And boy, what a rotation, man. And look at the hook. And then you look at the CC that's basically a debris signature. Look at the PTDS, and you'll see the confirmed tornado. There's just no doubt that that's a tornado. And then we move along in time, and you'll see it moving northeast and then moving through the south side of Pyatt.
Still on the ground. This
was on the ground a long time.
It had like a mezzo handoff almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then kept going. Yeah, that was on the ground again.
Yeah, that was on the ground a long time. That was one of the more longer track tornadoes that went through Norfolk. Look at that. Just considerable on the ground, touching down. Long track tornado. I believe. I think this is one of the more memorable storms, man. It really was. It was just a massive supercell. It reminded me a lot of March 12, 2006, which was another significant storm. Yes, we did, Brittany. In fact, we talked about it on the newscast. Was at Camp Barnabas. Yeah. Nasty damage. So 3 a.m.-ish storms. Yep.
And then 3 p.m.-ish storms.
There was an anticyclonic tornado south of Decatur, and potentially one that was south of Rogers was never surveyed. Looking very, very low. Let's look at the. We haven't done that. let's look at the SIG Tor parameter. And I think there's just going to be a giant goose egg on this. What do you think?
Oh, that's crazy.
What?
The comment from Ashley.
Okay, so this morning you guys covered Missouri. I live in Springfield and got hit. Thank you for being the reason I left my mobile home with my 3 kids. It was awesome. You took the time out of your day to help.
That's nice to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashley.
We knew Roby was on the
Now,
stream. He was
yeah.
like, I got family, and made us think, other people might have family in Springfield. So we were just like, let's do it. Let's cover it.
Now, Miana says tornado that spins opposite direction than it normally does. That's called an anticyclonic tornado. So that's a tornado that spins clockwise instead of counterclockwise. All right. So was the polygon shape weird due to the Ozarks? No.
Nope.
It was because Southwest Missouri is a weather service out of Springfield, and they weren't the ones that issued the tornado warning initially for that storm. It was the National Weather Service out of Tulsa. So they were including the rotation that was on the north side of J, as well as another circulation that was north of J, followed by the rotation that was coming towards Gravette in northwest Benton County. So that's why that polygon, and if you could bring that back up, do we have it anymore? Or is it? Nope. All right, well, that's all right. I can bring it up here. Stand by. That's why the polygon looked like this, as you'll see. Oh, it's after midnight now. Hold on.
I got it. Working on it.
I got it.
All right.
I'll get it fast. There we go. So there's a look at that polygon. So remember, you have a tornado warning. There's a circulation southwest to Southwest City. There's also a circulation that was north of J. And that's why the polygon goes into northwest Benton County and does not continue as it came into Southwest Missouri, because that was a different weather service office. So anyways, that's the reason for it. Not a lot lately. Don't sleep a lot, that's for sure. All right, so let's talk about the weather for the next couple of days as we look at, first of all, future radar. And let's look at the current radar here. So stand by. This computer is being overworked. Now, that line of storms with Jesse was much, much stronger as it was to the southwest. But look at how there's not even severe thunderstorm warnings anymore. But look, there are additional storms that are popping up, and that's that additional energy that's moving in. But look at this. Very intense line there. And then you can even see that upper level spin. That's an MCV. Now, that could enhance the rainfall rates, but the instability is just sapped. So going back to the SIG Tor parameter, for those that are maybe on here watching, I think we're going to see a big old fat goose egg on this overnight tonight. In fact, it doesn't even look like it's animating. Nothing. But I think we might see that increase during the afternoon tomorrow. That doesn't even do that.
Good. As it should. Or I guess shouldn't. No. Far southwest Arkansas. And far south, McCurtain County.
McCurtain, LaFleur, and Scott County. We'll see. That's about it. But that makes sense with the boundary and where it's going to be located. But I got to stress this. We haven't really focused on the heavy rain. We will get heavy rain potential. In fact, here's a look at the numerous flash floods that are likely, which, by the way, they're already seeing that. There's just tons of flash flood warnings and a lot of thunderstorm activity that's coming into northwest Arkansas overnight tonight.
Pretty good excessive rainfall outlook, I'd say.
And look at the excessive rainfall forecast as we go into tomorrow.
This is going to be after that afternoon round.
This is the afternoon.
Commute, that could be pretty dicey.
So we still have a little ways to go because this flash flood threat will go all the way through basically Thursday morning, as the flood watch has been issued for northwest Arkansas and the River Valley and basically everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of flood warnings. Look at that.
Jeez.
This is basically the entire central Oklahoma
Yeah.
area. Here's a question from Joshua. I'm flying out of XNA tomorrow around 6. I'm flying into XNA. My bad. What do we
Depends on
think?
where your flight's from.
Could be delayed a little bit just because of that line coming through. So this is a look at the future radar at 6 o'clock. I mean, you got to remember, we still have all that energy to come through, which, by the way, is a large low pressure system, a large upper level low. And so that starts to move out during the evening hours tomorrow. So let's look at some rainfall forecast, shall we? In terms of the amount of rain. We haven't done this. And in fact, I didn't really even show this on the newscast tonight because I had so much stuff going on. But here's a look at the rainfall accumulation. So the graph model shows not a lot, only about an inch. Which, by the way, we're already the second wettest April on record in Fayetteville. Already. Maybe probably won't surpass 2011's April.
It'll be close.
But we'll be close because look at the European.
A little over 3.5 inches.
Wow, look at that. That's increased in northeast Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, makes sense because look at all the rain that's popped up. Look at all the thunderstorm activity. But notice how it's not severe. But that doesn't mean it won't flood.
Right.
Here is the GFS.
That would break the record.
That would be a problem right there if we got almost 6 inches of rain in Fayetteville
throughout the next 3 days.
All right, and then the NAM.
We need it in 1 day, actually.
The NAM could be trouble if it is truly that. That seems a little bit high on the high end. But we know we got a slow-moving system. We know we got a stationary boundary. We know we got overrunning precipitation.
What does the HRRR show as far as rain? Like as far as like a 1 day total instead of a 3 day total.
Let's look at it.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I think that could probably make us the wettest April at Drakefield.
On record?
On record.
Ever.
Be pretty close.
Has Northwest Arkansas received more rain in 2025 than Seattle?
Probably.
I don't even know if they do CLIs anymore. Let's see. This might take a little while to figure out. Let's see. This is going to be hard to figure out.
Every National Weather Service office is
totally different.
Different.
Wait, that's because it clicked on like marine. I don't want marine. There we go. I got it.
Nice.
All right. So let's go to additional resources. Let's go to
past weather, I guess.
Let's go here and go to every site climate charts. Here we go.
Whoa.
Calendar year chart. Rainfall. There you go.
0.99. We're at 12.8. 8
for the month.
For the month.
Yeah, we already had more rain in Seattle in the month of April. You know what? Let's show this. Share the tabs. Let's do this. Add to the stage. So here's a look at the rainfall
for the
total.
Year. I believe for the year.
Yeah, I think it is. Look, January, February, March, April, 12.99.
And we have had, we'll pull up that climate.
Yep. Oh.
I think 12.88.
Is it even updated though?
Not with today's rain.
Let's see here. Weather. Yeah, I don't know. Did they update the? Oh, they did. They updated the CLI.
We've had 12.88 inches of rain.
Ready for this? This is pretty astounding. Here we go. Get out of there. Bye-bye. Wait a minute. How do you hide that?
I don't know. I thought it was the pin thing.
I thought it was too.
Whoa. Oh, there we go.
What?
No, work. Just make it smaller and then
Just
move it to the left.
Go over and get out of there. All right. So, anyways, here we go. I'm showing you this. So here's our almanac. Good question on Seattle. For the year, we got 18.02.
Yeah.
And for the month, we got 12.88. So, Alan,
for the year, yes.
we have more rain in 1 month, which, by the way, more rain could come. And we will be getting, we will be easily breaking. Well, we already broke Seattle's yearly rainfall. To date. It's a key.
To date.
I got hit. I got my hard hat. All right. Got the JD. Pillows ready. You'll be fine. You're just going to be, it's fizzling out. It sure does look like it's fizzling out. And we never said it wasn't going to. But I am concerned about that flooding threat. Let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer because I still think we get some rain, some heavy rain at that too. Not good.
Lisa's got a great question about weather call during flooding situations. Weather call you during flooding?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, let's answer it. And I already know the answer, but I want to show you how it works. So I can tell you that I think flooding, you get texts, but you do not get calls, essentially. So let me show you here real fast. I'm going to look for it.
There it is. All flash flood warnings. You will get emails and texts on the left side of the screen.
All right. Yep. So let me share this tab instead.
However, there's like a pro version. They'll give you more.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's called Weather Call Next Gen. That's basically what we're talking about. So this is Weather Call Next Gen and Weather Call at Home. So this is the previous version that many people had, and Next Gen is a different deal. So Weather Call Next Gen has a Find Me button, which is cool. All severe thunderstorm warnings, all tornado warnings, and all flash flood warnings for emails and text. However, sometimes you get flash flood emergencies, which is real serious. You will get a call for that.
It's a good idea, especially if you're camping.
And extreme wind warnings, too, where you have at least 115 miles per hour. That's where you have a derecho coming through or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. So that's an extreme wind warning. That's definitely extreme, man.
Up in State College, I saw a video of a porta potty on its side taking out a soccer ref.
Oh man, that's a crappy situation.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's your answer on that. Tornado chances I think are low, except for the river valley. So that's something I'm not sold on the tornado potential tomorrow, to be honest with you. All right, going back to the NAM 3 kilometer, let's see what this does. So right now, it's basically doing an okay job with that rain and thunderstorm activity. Here's storms moving in during the morning hours, but I think it's going to ramp up the storms during the afternoon. Yeah. That doesn't seem like it's producing 5 inches of rain.
In AM.
Maybe because it's the NAM 3 kilometer. Let's see this one here. This is the NAM 12 kilometer. Let this baby load up. Oh yeah, see that's got
Not much.
no, that's got a lot more.
There on Thursday. Got a lot later.
I don't buy that.
No.
All right, you're off to bed. We're going to be off to bed here soon. We'll end this at 1 hour and 30 minutes. But just to show you, we do have moisture that's increasing, southerly winds. That will start to ramp up that severe weather threat. Now, this is the severe weather threat for tomorrow evening or tonight, essentially. Wait a minute, that's not right. Here we go. So this is the severe weather threat for tonight through 7 a.m. And you'll notice we already saw the storm activity this morning. See how bad the model was? So bad. So let's just go all the way to tonight. Actually, no, take that back. Oh,
Wait, what?
because we're past midnight. So
Yeah.
the day one will actually be tomorrow. Even though
Right.
it's today and blah, 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 blah.
What day is it?
It's Wednesday already.
Yep. Burning the midnight oil.
All right, so let's recap here. More storms are going to be possible early Wednesday morning. I think we can basically come to an agreement that there will be thunderstorms.
Yep.
I mean, look at all the thunderstorm activity that's off to the west. There will be small hail that's associated with this. There will be even the potential for some severe weather. Look at what's ramping up down to the south.
Just when I thought we were about to
Just
leave.
when you thought we were leaving. Look at this. Storms popping up in LaFleur County, and that could go severe thunderstorm warned, honestly. With that, look at the amount of lightning increasing.
Yeah, that's exactly my concern. So I get hail, a little bit of hail,
Mm-hmm.
nickel sized, if that penny.
It's west of McCurtain County, and yeah, no,
Wrong radar.
Yeah,
Should I switch it?
not yet.
I mean, this is completely shot.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and switch it. While that's switching, this is the thing we were talking about. Storms are going to still be possible because we still have a lot of energy to come in, don't we?
Yep. So lagging behind, slowly kind of seeping out.
Here's a look at the energy. Look at this. Look at that upper level support. So we're finally starting to get some stronger lift. And when we look at this with the vorticity maps, so here you go. Look at all those little subtle pieces of energy, and then look at that energy flinging out tomorrow. And remember, the strongest lift is out ahead of it. My goodness. I bet you Scott County and Waldron, flip that camera to the west. I bet you we're going to see some lightning on that puppy.
Southwest?
Southwest, yeah. Let's close it out with this, and then we'll just continue to answer some questions. Here's a look at the forecast for the next 5 days. Now, the good news is that we will be quiet for the weekend. The weekend looks great.
I think it's too far away right now. With all the cloud cover.
Yeah.
Hearing it.
Well,
That is a ton of lightning.
still think you're going to see it, though. Just think it's sporadic. Yeah, there you go. I saw it. I did.
Okay.
I did. Look, you're going to see it along the horizon. I saw it just above those lights. But anyways, here's the 7-day forecast. First 5 days, a little stormy as we go into basically tomorrow. Severe weather potential still possible. Here's a look at the rest of the 7-day. Quiet weather over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Monday and Tuesday in the upper 70s to lower 80s. So some pretty nice weather expected Saturday through Tuesday. Active stretch of weather, though, coming our way for the next 2 days. Man. Here we go.
Oh, you missed a good one.
Was that a good one?
Yeah.
Let's get on it real quick.
That was a good one.
Meanwhile, I'll bring up the camera here while we're looking at this from Waldron. Yeah, hopefully you can finally get some baseball played for this weekend. We had off and on sun in Van Buren.
Mm-hmm.
Just put the gas in the 98 Dodge Stratus,
Nice.
65 horsepower. I think my treadmill has more horsepower than that. What a day it is. Yeah, have a quiet night. Doesn't look like it. Look at all the lightning that's off in the distance. Take the camera off the screen here. It is perfect sleeping weather, the rumbles of thunder. If you don't have an animal that doesn't like storms or a baby, oh man, big old flashes. So yeah, I think we're gonna get some more rain. This is probably gonna fill in and produce significant flash flooding.
Tonight, you think there's gonna be significant flash flooding?
If that comes, look at how much lightning there is on this. Check this out. This is insanity. Look at this. Now I'll bring it up on this way. Look at this storm. First of all, look at how fast this storm erupted. Pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
When we zoom out, and you can definitely see those are the most highly electrified storms. And Waldron's lightning is starting to increase. I know I do love the sound of thunderstorms as long as it's not severe tornado potential.
Right.
And I think Northwest Arkansas, we're good for that. We do not have tornado potential. Even the River Valley, too. But I just don't see those ingredients coming together. We should look at some stuff real quick on the SPC, on the mesoanalysis. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. So,
Oh, man. That was a big one.
That lightning is going nuts. Oh, yeah, we had it on there too. Perfect.
Oh, we did?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, Andy, this is in the River Valley. Storms moving into LaFleur County and southern Scott County. So mega Doppler showing those storms popping up. That's a pretty big step ladder. 35 feet. That's 3.5 stories tall.
Yeah.
Is that a little giant? Clarksville, you're good there. I have a feeling that we're going to see a big lightning flash here again. Ready? In 5, 4.
I wonder if the lightning's
3,
coming from here.
2. I think it is. Because that other cell is not super big. Oh, there
Nice.
you are. Did it show up on here?
Yeah.
Or is that
I saw
old?
it. No,
Okay.
it showed. I was watching.
Already raining in Waldron, too. You can see it on the lights in the foreground. What time in Northwest Arkansas? Basically real soon. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. That lightning is on the increase, too. Whoa! You missed that one. That was an amble crawler.
Yeah. Dang. I'm recording before I miss another one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Oh, we stopped all the other recordings,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Believe so.
Let's show you the radar here.
I'll show you a radar.
I'll take a radar and raise it. Yeah, that was a good That was a good bolt. There's not going to be another one charged for a while here.
Yeah.
Hey, we might use the Brian's kids cam.
Yeah.
When lightning happens, and we're gonna be like, all right, time to get in here. We're gonna have a lawsuit on our hands.
Flash like big room.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, there's a look at the storm activity on. Dang it! Every time I go off of it,
I
big old
recorded that one
flash.
though.
Yeah, we got it though. That wasn't a super good one.
No.
Though. But anyways, you know what? I'll tell you what. You can do all you want, Storms. I'm still gonna have you on the lightning with the radar, sucker. There you go. Now we won't miss the storm with the
Right.
lightning, and we still have the radar information. So, storms popping up, and what?
Moved it too much. Can't move it too
I
much.
guess so. Storms popping up in southwest Missouri. Oh, there we go. A big old flash there. Yeah, that lightning's on the increase. I think so, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Special weather statement. I mean, there's been special weather statements, but
So we got this line, and if we put it in motion, you're going to notice that that's making its way eastward. So I think 3 a.m. is going to be the time for our storms. These storms are going to be obviously already in LaFleur County, so it's going to be a lot sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Waldron, and that's looking off to the southwest, so that gives you an idea. These cells, and then we put the lightning on there, and you're going to see quite a bit of lightning popping up.
All right.
There we go. No, right on cue, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now these flashes are getting more frequent, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
All righty. Well, that's a good question, Jeffrey. What's the difference between a statement and a warning? So a special weather statement is basically a storm that is borderline close to severe, but hasn't quite reached severe limits. And a severe thunderstorm warning is where you have winds either 58 miles per hour or greater, and or hail 1 inch, which is quarter size or larger.
Mm-hmm.
And a special weather statement is a storm that still needs to be watched. It could prompt severe thunderstorm warning status if it increases in strength, but typically it's under 58 miles per hour winds.
Pop up the cot comment, because I've seen a lot of people asking about how many times we slept in here on a cot. Personally, I can say never.
I have 3 times. 3 times.
And you've been here for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So only
Well-
3 times.
One time was the ice storm,
Yeah.
2009. Another time was a winter storm that happened in the first day of spring, 2010. And then the third time was 2011. Golly, that lightning. Whoa. That was awesome. Yeah, I'd
Speaking
say
up.
that lightning is definitely on the increase. Oh, Dylan, that is a good question. How can you tell the difference between an elevated storm and a surface-based storm on radar, especially in our radar hole? So you got to look at the ingredients, which, by the way, that leads me into looking at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook along with model soundings, which we will do here in just a second. So that will transition. Let's get a few more lightning flashes here from our Waldron weather bug network camera. Look at this, how it's almost constant now. That tells you that lightning is definitely on the increase, which means the storms are strengthening. There's more ice and water collisions that are happening, turbulence in the atmosphere. But going back
And
to
there's more nitrous oxide
that's right.
because of the lightning.
Yeah.
And do you know what helps produce lightning? Nitrous oxide. Isn't that funny?
Ozone, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the nitrous oxide interacts with the oxygen
Yeah.
and creates ozone.
Creates ozone, which is why sometimes you can get that smell, which also is bacteria as well. All right.
We're a bunch of nerds.
Yeah. Going back to this, I want to go to the SPC hourly analysis. We're going to start sharing that tab. All right. So this is the meso analysis. And if we look, let's start off with surface-based CAPE. So number one, you'll notice that we don't have any surface-based CAPE. You will notice there's some surface-based CAPE, though, in southern LaFleur County. In fact, if we take the radar off of there, and then we take off the overlays, radar, kind of fade that on at the time. See that surface-based instability? That's where those storms have popped up. Now, over time, that surface-based instability is expected to remain to the south until tomorrow late morning. If we look at the mixed layer CAPE, okay, that shows up a little bit more. But that will tell you, if we look at mostly unstable, that'll tell you that these storms are likely going to be elevated and not surface-based. So the surface-based CAPE is really important to look at. So what exactly does that mean? Well, we're going to look at a sounding here, and I'm going to illustrate that, what a surface-based storm will look like. I always start on temperature.
Yeah.
Start on something here. All right. So let's check this out. So let's go to, we're going to start sharing this tab instead. So this is the computer model for the HRRR. We're going to click on this area, and you will notice some surface-based CAPE. Because you can see the LCL and the level of free convection are very low to the ground. Whereas, so basically this will tell you if the storm has instability in the lowest levels, which according to this has 127 CAPE. Now remember, this is just a computer model, but it does represent basically what those storms are doing now in the river valley. If we go to Northwest Arkansas, guess what? We've got a different story. We don't have that surface-based instability. And look at how the LFC and the LCL, the level of lifted condensation level and the level of free convection, is basically a kilometer above the ground.
Look at that dew point.
Yeah, 59.
Yeah,
which
and
is
then it
basically
just
what it
increases
is.
the mid levels with that
With the
nocturnal low-level jet.
with the cloud cover.
Freaking
Yep. So if we go even farther north, let's go to Rogers here, and you will see basically no instability at all. What?
That sound.
I know. Well, let's go back down to Scott County,
Classic.
and look at that. Not even really a whole lot of instability there. So if we look at severe weather parameters, of course, gotta zoom out. Why don't you give me all those parameters?
It's the same thing, right?
View? I don't get it. Yeah. So let's look at the 0 to 3 kilometer above ground level CAPE. A lot of CAPE in LaFleur County, which is why those storms are kind of taking off. Not even too bad of a profile for tornado potential. So LaFleur County will need to watch. That's a pretty impressive shear profile, actually.
I've been telling you.
No, I believe it.
Yeah. But the instability was kind of questionable.
But if this comes true, those are pretty stout storms that
Dude,
could happen.
that's nice. As far as severe weather.
Yeah.
70 over 67.
And that's basically in southern LaFleur County. Now,
Of course it is.
what does that do over time? Doesn't really do much for us, but ooh, ramps up there. Let's see what we got tomorrow, late morning into the afternoon. Now, see, the wind profile is not good, but the surface-based instability
It's better.
is a lot better
Mhm.
tomorrow afternoon. So I still think we get storms tomorrow afternoon. This, by the way, is for 18Z, so 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Just give me time in the morning to do laundry and cook some food, please.
You don't get it.
Okay.
It's CAPE is spelled CAPE, which stands for convective available potential energy.
However, Brian, if you are making crepes, let me know. We'll be there. Get some.
What's your go-to filling for a crepe? I got mine. I'll tell you immediately.
Oh, just give me like some banana Nutella.
That's it. That's it. Nutella. Yep. Nutella is where it's at.
The greatest.
Look at Dylan.
All right, Brian, we'll be there. Just let us know. DM us where
Crepes
to
are
find
hard to
crepes.
make, man. You better have a
Yeah.
non-stick surface because you will
My girlfriend's
be
mom
in
makes
trouble.
some great crepes.
Well, if we're gonna call it the crepe, then that would be good. How about the crap?
That's what we're calling models.
Yeah. Oh man, lone wolf.
There we go.
A lot of lightning now. All righty, guys. Well, whoa, that was a good bolt.
Yeah, a little CG.
That's a clouded ground lightning strike.
Could sit here and watch lightning all day. I'm not going to.
Well, so far it's 12:37. It might be all day. Oh my goodness, spinach and mushroom in the crepes.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta have that savory one
I
instead of the
can't-
sweet.
I can't disagree with that at all.
That's what you gotta do. If you do 2 crepes, you gotta have 1 sweet one and 1 savory one.
Mhm.
I agree.
My wife doesn't care for crepes. I like them. You know what I also like? Like a camera in the Poto area. Speaking of lone wolf, oh man, that was a
Whoa.
bright flash. Lone Wolf, we may be going. How about that? Bring the weather truck. Lone Wolf is saying we just had crepes last night, as you mentioned, but how about some Wolf Mountain golf course? That's where we could essentially get our next weather camera.
Hopefully.
I think it's happening. Oh man, that lighting is going nuts. Is that starting to get supercell characteristics down there?
I was watching that earlier. That's the only thing.
Another CG. Yes, those are.
They're starting to develop a little bit of a healthier mezzo. This looked better earlier. No, it doesn't.
Let's look at while we're at it. We only looked at a couple parameters and didn't look at nearly enough. Let's look at some more here. In the meantime, I want to keep. We're gonna keep the Waldron Weatherbug Network camera a little bit larger
Yeah.
on the screen. Yeah, there we go. Try that. All right, back to this. Let's look at supercell composite. Still has some supercell composite over us. This won't be in
Not
existence at all. Just wait.
So
Really slow.
to the south.
Effective layer. That's also south. That's the SIG-TOR parameter. SIG-TOR also not showing up. QLCS tornado potential. No. Totally parallel to the line. That's not going to do it. So that's why the storms are a lot weaker, by the way. Still have some cape. Look at this, 0 to 3 kilometer cape's a little stronger. That's why those storms are more intense in the river valley. There you go. Starting to show a little bit of cape building up, but want to explain that nitrous oxide associated with lightning real quick?
There's a lot of science, a lot of chemistry.
Give your best shot, Peyton.
Gotta go back to my atmospheric chemistry notes. Basically, lightning, the way it interacts with the air around it, it creates nitrous oxide. And nitrous oxide reacts with O2 because oxygen, wants to interact with other oxygen. And that creates ozone. Those kind of interactions are going on all the time, not just with lightning, but lightning loves oxygen.
Be careful by spelling lightning as in lightning.
Yep, we will. I thought about that earlier. Somebody said it. Lightning.
Yep, you don't want to spell it with an E.
We'll get you.
Otherwise, you're dropping the placenta. If you look it up, if you type up lightening, a drop in the level of the uterus during the last weeks of pregnancy as the head of the fetus engages in the pelvis. So basically, it's a drop in the level of the uterus. The descent of the uterus into the pelvic cavity.
Make sure you spell it correctly.
Lightning is a sense of decreased weight and abdominal tension felt by a pregnant woman on descent of the fetus into the pelvic cavity. Yeah, I think you get the point.
Yeah. That means getting ready to say, ready, say, hot, hot. Oh, great.
And what was it?
Flash flood warning.
Is that what you already know?
Yep. Delaware County.
Did it show up?
No, because there's no hit windshield.
Whoa. I don't want the hit windshield. I want the alert template. I missed the opportunity to show it.
Drop the ball. You shouldn't drop the viewers.
There's a flash flood warning for Delaware County. Well, here we go. Lot of flash flood warnings coming out. Oh, lightning ramping up. Man. What is this radar? Looks trash. Oh, it's NORAD.
Real-time next rad.
All right, Jonas. It's got pulse stop, real-time next rad. Days of sniffing the dirt are over, man.
Better than what you sniff.
All right.
And then he knocks him out his hat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Love that movie.
Man, Bill Paxton's a legend.
Hmm.
Miss that guy. Debris. All right.
Megan's gonna be so happy. We talked about Twister.
It's gonna be a long night, long morning. We're gonna do the handoff with Josh. We can't leave. Got storms.
Right.
We are tired, man. You know what? Crack open the supply, sir. You know what we got? Yep. You knew exactly what we were getting at. What do we have here? Baja Blast. That's exactly what we've got with this energy. Baja Blast energy. Once again. Look. Wait, seriously? Oh, yeah, we can crush that. See? Baja Blast. Exactly. Energy swinging in from Baja. Look at all the storms popping up. Now, apparently, there's a new flavor coming out called Baja Midnight. That would have been real handy right about now.
I'm pumped. That is the most accurate way to describe our weather.
Baja Midnight?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brett Bollinger, what's going on? Yeah, I know. Zach would get on us. Drinking bad stuff for you. So much sugar in this. Good news is I'm gonna have a treadmill in my house, so I won't get too fatty patty.
Yeah, it will be crashing. 44 grams of sugar. That's crazy.
Oh, that's the extra.
Uh-huh.
All right, special weather statement. Does that hit us or go north of us?
Special weather statement. Eastern Pushmataha County.
Oh. Make sure there's no circulation in that line. So we are in, our studio is in,
Can't say it like that.
all right, well, here's the deal. The perfect time.
This is interesting.
No, that's not interesting. That's outflow dominant. That's cold pool dominant.
Mm-hmm.
That's balanced.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, man.
Let me cook here.
Yeah, we might not be moving in the right direction. All right.
Carry on.
So basically, this line, that needs to be watched, everyone. That sure does. See how that line is getting a little more intense as it comes in?
I have to watch this part.
It's starting to bow. This is all balanced. All right, let's go back to QLCS tornado potential.
Yes, QLCS graphic.
So that is going to be line normal, and it's at 35 knots. So it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And 0 to 3 kilometer cape. Why is it taking so long to load?
Oh no.
About to end. About to end the stream. Better. I know. We didn't.
An earthquake happens,
yeah.
or
oh gosh,
that was hilarious.
That. So, anyways, let's get the camera off the screen. Let's go full screen on this. Let's look at this. So this is the meso analysis. There's a little bit of 0 to 3 kilometer cape. This is 30, 35 knots. Remember, the line is kind of like this, so it's pretty close to line normal. The northern part of the line will need to be watched a little more south of Shoto and north of Wagner. And if we look at the surface vorticity and the 0 to 3 kilometer cape as it loads 25 minutes later.
Man, do you see the normalized rotation?
I am.
Let me do a different part of the storm. I'm gonna.
My goodness. All right. This line's starting to look a little more impressive. Oh, south of Cedar Creek. Zoom in on that. This is what I don't, or Cedar Crest, excuse me. I don't like this at all because this is rain that's moving towards the radar. And then this is rain that's moving away from the radar.
We're on Fort Smith.
And
Just
we're on the
keep that in
radar
mind.
in Fort Smith. So it is
So we changed to
6,500 feet aloft. Tulsa will be close to it. Yeah, let's switch. We're going to switch radars. In the meantime, enjoy the lightning show from Waldron as this lightning is popping off, man. Golly. Oh, no. That just knocked the camera out.
You gotta be kidding
I'm
me.
not kidding you. I just saw it. It just died.
I know. I saw it.
Oh. Oh, yep. Back online.
Does it delete the old dot?
Nope.
Well, I don't even know where the other one was.
It's back online. Problem is that it's not showing up. So hold on. There we go. We're back.
You gotta watch this.
What? I know. We do have to watch that. That's probably going to start having a TBS. I'm getting my microphone on. I don't like that at all.
I'm gonna call Anderson.
Yep.
All right. I'll get your stuff. I'll talk to him.
Yep. All right, everyone. Let me break down what's going on here. So we're watching an area that has rotation. It's not super strong yet, but there's definitely a definitive line of circulation along the leading edge of the line. Now, will all the ingredients come together for tornado potential? That remains to be seen, but we know we were humid, we were warm, and really honestly, these storms can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So let me show you what we've got on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. This is the circulation that we're watching, and this is the line that's coming in, and this looks pretty strong. So we're going to have to watch this, especially along the leading edge of the line, west of Pegs, northeast of Wagner. This is going to be moving into southwestern Delaware County here soon. That's going to be the area that we're going to be watching the most, because if we look at this velocity signature and a spectrum width, this is all balanced right here on the QLCS tornado potential. Everything that's south of Bragg's, this is all outflow dominant. So this is all cold pool dominant. But anywhere along this leading edge of the line right here, you have a balanced QLCS tornado potential. And there's little circulations that are showing up right here and here. And if we look at the normalized rotation, it's a little stronger earlier. We're going to have to watch these as they come in. And we know how these little spin-ups can happen. So hopefully it weakens and dies out, but still caught my attention. Let's just say that. And a lot of other thunderstorms developing too, but
You gonna eat this?
no.
So,
In fact, it says do not eat.
just making sure.
Yeah.
Waldron's gone. Or what?
Devin, good-eyed. No, it's back.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, it's down now again.
Anderson's on his way.
Nope, it's back. Yeah, let's do a track on this here. Man, that camera's acting real finicky. Close out. Go ahead and stop the recording.
And close it out.
Slow motion for warning. I guess we got a
For
severe.
warning. No, you gotta do it from the marker.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Place marker. Go back in time. So slow motion for marker. That's pretty good. 245 at 43.
Down there too.
I know. Look at these little circulations here on the leading edge of the line. So all that's balanced, especially when it runs kind of northwest to southeast. So those will have tornado potential. This won't be as much, but this right here will in fact have that potential.
So likely affect Delaware County.
So we're
down the
looking
road.
50 miles per hour. I'm going to track this. 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, severe thunderstorm watch for Pushmataha and Choctaw.
All right. Here's a good idea of the track. So Fayetteville, 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what we kind of said. It's got the Gravette area in there. Do this here. Move that a little bit north. Siloam Springs, a little earlier, 140. Prairie Grove, 153. Mountainburg, 212. Japton in Madison County at about 230. Bella Vista, yeah, I mean, basically look at the line and it's going everywhere. So which area is going to be the strongest? Well, that's where our QLCS research will come into play. And so hopefully it doesn't do anything and it doesn't have the 0 to 3 kilometer Kate, but that's too suspicious to just ignore. That thing really blew up, didn't it?
Yeah.
That really strengthened fast. Let's see. Yeah.
I think we probably have, 2 key areas
Yep.
of suspicion. This will
Right
likely-
here. Right here.
Down
Those
the
two.
down the road, this will likely affect, portions of Delaware County.
Yeah.
Maybe Benton County as well.
Yeah. See, it still is just a sheer boundary, but you can see those little areas of rotation. Now, what we're going to have to watch for are reflectivity drops on the backside of the storm. Also, what are called line surges, line splits, line breaks. That looks real suspicious
I know.
northwest of Pegs.
Yeah.
Honestly. All right, we're gonna show you the radar, and we're gonna bring up our Waldron WeatherBug Network camera. I'm gonna get my microphone on just in case.
Let me get some more water or something.
Yeah.
Die.
Yeah, understand that.
Get the water now.
Yeah. So stand by. We're kind of getting ready for severe weather mode. In the meantime, we're going to do the storm track on here so you guys can see where this storm is headed. And it's basically going to cover a good portion of northwest Arkansas. But 2 o'clock in the morning, this line is going to be moving in because it's moving at 50 miles per hour. Yeah, there's an area of rotation near Tahlequah that looks real suspicious. Lightning starting in Gravette. Well, here's the deal, Taylor, with that is it's always really low until something happens. That's honestly what the way it looks. But I don't like this, honestly. I don't like this area right here northwest of Tahlequah. And you can see the way the line kind of runs this way. These tornadoes don't last super long typically, but they do show up. And that will be making a run for the south side of Siloam Springs. So, yeah, we're going to watch this closely. It's moving in our weather coverage area. Moving into our weather coverage area. So this is the tie I'm going to be wearing. No tornado tie, but the big lightning tie, but not the biggest lightning tie. This doesn't deserve the biggest lightning tie.
It's like a cartoon. They don't show that.
I know. Hi. All right. Back to this just to keep track of that.
Mm-hmm. Just about now, moving through Tahlequah. These tight little areas of circulation definitely need to be watched.
What's that? You're calling the cave increase. Get interested. Is Anderson coming in?
Yes, I did call him. He will be coming in. Yeah, I'll call Christina. Yeah, figures. It is the middle of the night. Tahlequah is not in our weather coverage area, but it is just west. Call one of our producers. Hey, what's up? Nothing going on. No, we have a little bit of some embedded circulations within a line that is just west of one of our counties. So, kind of giving you a little bit of a heads up. But this could be making a run for, Adair County, parts of Delaware County, and maybe, Siloam Springs and upwards as far as Benton County goes. Anderson's on his way. Okie dokie. Not at the moment.
There you go. Severe thunderstorm warning. Tornado possible.
Well, you heard that. All right. Cool. See ya.
Who's that?
Christina, she's on her way.
Okay. So that's going to be on the leading edge of that line. And tornado possible. You're going to see the warning popping up on the screen here in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to remove the track of this low. And that makes sense. Right on the leading edge of that line that we didn't really like and the looks of it.
Maybe they're watching the stream.
Maybe.
Oh, back up.
Yeah, the camera's been going on and off, so. I'm actually contemplating the tornado tie looking at that. What do you think?
I did the storm motion from the morning now.
Okay, good.
Oh,
I think it's moving a little quicker than that. Do it on the actual circulation. Let's see. Right click right on that area. Place marker here. Go back a few frames. Yeah. I think that's moving faster. Yeah. Or both ties.
yeah, short two ties.
Low tornado risk, but remember that tornado possible tag. That camera is going. I'm going kind of on the fritz. I might. You know what? I might reboot it. I think that's going to be needing it since it lost its connection.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start pointing cameras.
Yeah, I
think that's a good time.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh.
Just tuning in, we're getting ready for potential coverage. We have that severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible, 60 miles per hour winds, smaller hail associated with that cell, which is less than quarter size. Put a tie around your head like a bandana.
If it was that kind of party, but it's not.
I'll tell you what, that cell, we're going to need to watch it close. Let's look at Lincoln. Lincoln should have a good view of that cell off to the west. Let's see what we got. Here's a look at Lincoln. We're going to be seeing some lightning here soon. If not already. Is that pointed straight west?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I see it on the horizon.
Ooh, it's a low base. It's
Yeah,
a
you mean
real
zoom in
low
over there?
base. No. Leave it on the wide view. That is definitely a low base.
Mm-hmm.
New outlook for SPC. But here's the deal, Patrick. That's not going to help because all that's going to show is essentially the risk after 7 a.m. A lot of these storms that we're going to see this morning are going to be out of here by 7 a.m. But then we get an additional round of storms that comes through. So, man.
It's called.
The storm will have some strong winds. There's a good reason that they went with. By the way, what is Brad saying?
Lines showing signs of localized stronger winds with potential for brief circulations. So they have the tornado possible tag.
Yeah.
That is textbook.
Yeah, I don't like those little areas.
Mm-hmm.
Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado possible tag until 2 a.m. This is what we're watching. That area south of Moody's. See the bright greens and bright reds showing up with that circulation? You know what? I'm going for it.
We'll zoom out. So here's kind of where this is headed
Switching.
towards. Salem Springs in a little bit, but before that,
I think I'm switching it.
Concord, Kansas, and southern Delaware County. Not to be confused with southeast Kansas. Yep. Go ahead and do a track here. You need to open up severe workspaces.
Yep.
Okay. I'm switching our stuff over to as if we were about to do severe weather coverage just in case. Just kind of getting everything ready. Just in case. We shall see. But I will get a track up here in just a second. Stand by for now. Just watch Mega Doppler while we kind of switch things around. We can kind of tell where it's going based on that severe thunderstorm polygon. Be moving up this way. 35 miles per hour towards the northeast. Hang on. Not responding. That's great. Cool. So I'll show you kind of what I'm doing here as I do it. That's an old track. Don't need that. We'll get a track here. 35 miles per hour for this part of the storm. There you go.
Oh, man. Yeah. I don't like the looks of that.
So there's a current. Look at the track right now.
You got weather 2 loaded up on
Yep.
Max 2?
We are all good to go,
Okay.
sir.
Perfect. Just to let you know, switched. I don't like the way the QLCS looks. I know that it may not produce, but here's the deal. That looks pretty textbook to me. And so I don't think you need to get everything in the tornado shelter yet, but be aware that a warning could be issued here with that cell that's approaching the south side of Siloam Springs. So this will be including basically northwest Washington County, southwestern Benton County, and northern Adair County, and southeastern Delaware County. So,
Yeah.
which, by the way, boy, that base is extremely low. My goodness, this is definitely surface based, folks. Look at the base of this thunderstorm. This is not what you call elevated at all.
Scraping the
Watch.
ground. You can
Watch.
barely see it on the horizon.
Look at this base. My goodness. And then I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to point a little northwest, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And the reason is the greater base of that thunderstorm. You can see it off in the distance. It's right over those lights on the left-hand side. That looks suspicious. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then we look at the mega Doppler here. There's two definitive circulate. This one right here really showing up. Ah. Yep. I don't like that.
So again, that's moving towards the northeast at around 35 miles per hour.
You know what I just realized?
What's up?
You don't have. Let's start something.
Let me check Silent Springs.
Speaking of Siloam Springs, something's wrong with those presets. What happened there?
Oh, the presets are wrong.
Yeah, there's like a 1 and a 2 and a 3. Look at them with the camera. What in the world?
That's interesting.
I know. I'm going to delete them.
Flush flood warning here coming from McDonald County.
Okay.
Let's see if it works.
I'm gonna do a track on that area rotation.
Yeah.
That's north of Tahlequah. That's south of Moody's. That's moving. I'm gonna do a smaller track on the most dangerous portion of the storm. It's not moving at 60. What? 50?
35.
I don't buy that.
All right.
I think that's too slow. Do a track on that. I think that's too slow. It doesn't seem right.
$43.
Yeah. This would be the area that area rotation, if this does prompt tornado potential. This is a big if, but if it does, this is the area that circulation would essentially travel. Yep, that's a very good track right there.
Southern Benton County.
Yep. So you can see that's going to
Southwestern.
clip basically northern Adair, southeastern Delaware, northwestern Washington, and southwestern Benton County. If that in fact does get warm. Okay.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yes, I could have done that.
Rid of those.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we're tracking in the area of a little bit of a circulation just northeast of Tahlequah. We're tracking that as it progresses into eventually Adair County and potentially could prompt tornado warning. It's a big if though, as of right now, but it does have a little bit of circulation.
And just to let you know, they had a 51 miles per hour gust that was located, and that was in the Tahlequah area. So the Tahlequah Mesonet. Track does not include Centerton at the moment. It'll be a little south of Centerton. Do me a favor, hit refresh on those presets. Yeah, let's see if that got rid of them. Salem, yeah. Yep. Hit refresh. There we go. Got them. Gone. Good. Okay, so thunderstorms are going to be moving into basically the entire weather coverage area. There's a look at that circulation that they're watching. Area south is a persistent area of concern.
It's out the scraper.
Yep.
Scrape at the ground.
Yep. There it is right there. That's what they were saying. Be ready. This might be going. There's a good chance that this goes.
I just misspelled scraping. I thought it
No,
was
that's
like,
right. That's what they got.
But it's scraping the ground.
Oh yeah, scraping the ground too. Yeah, I'll say very low base. Yeah.
There was a report just northwest of Tahlequah of some tree limbs down. But it was just
Already?
No, as far it was way up here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to the northwest part of the county. Just
will dissipate and die
Less than
out.
1 inch limbs broken.
So maybe it might be encountering that lower instability because it doesn't look as strong with the latest scans. You can kind of see it weakening. It's still an area of concern. And what we're looking at here, the radar is located in Tulsa. So basically, here's the radar location. Here's the circulation. I'm going to take the lightning off for a second. Rain that's moving away from the radar and towards the radar, very close to each other, is an area of rotation. And there's the potential for a QLCS tornado. Now they have 62 miles per hour winds at the Tahlequah Mesonet. So this storm is increasing in intensity. But this would be the only area because all this is basically outflow dominant, not necessarily as balanced. And even if it is balanced, it's not perpendicular to the line. This is the only area that's of concern at the moment. So here's what we're looking at as we look at how heat and cooling mega Doppler, and we look at our Lincoln WeatherBug network camera. We're going to leave it on this sphere for a little bit. And see if we can see any type of visual structure with this. We're looking off to
The west.
Is that due west?
No, it's a little bit northwest.
I'm going to go a little. So there's due west. Yeah, you can see the base off in the distance. Pretty low. All right. Has anything went tornado warned in Oklahoma yet? No. No, Kylie, nothing has gone tornado warned yet. So I think we're all set and we're ready to go if in case this does get warned.
Got the new track already.
All right. I'm going to load up
So I'll show you this new track real quick here.
this for Max 2.
There's that new track for the area, only the area of concern with the little circulation. Salem Springs 141. It's about 21 minutes from now. High fill at 156. But before that, Chewy at 123. That's just in the next little bit.
All right.
Tiny Town a little bit after 2.
So this is a severe thunderstorm warning that does have a tornado possible tag. It looks like he loaded up weather 2, but I don't know if we. Oh no, where's the?
Christina is here.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so we got to load this up in order to get on it. That should give me mega Doppler. We're good there. All right. There's the area of concern that's southwest of Salem Springs. And now they actually upgraded this warning to a considerable. So because it's 121, we may just go on anyways with this cell because it is so early in the morning. We've got considerable. A lot of people are concerned about it. It's got a tornado possible tag. Huh?
Leave your laptop over there.
No, no, but that's
It'll be
fine.
good.
We're good.
Did you want to do it cut in like during a break?
Yeah, they won't have any national break. It's going to be all paid programming.
Yeah.
But we have 70 miles per hour winds on the leading edge of this line, so a little stronger winds expected. Oh, look at the base of that storm. Wow, does that look menacing?
Why go ahead and hit record?
Yeah, go ahead and do that. So who's going to be impacted by this? Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to kind of run through everything, tell you what's going on, keep you updated with all the information. Nothing has been tornado warned yet. All right, so this is a look at Mega Doppler. We're back here in the weather lab. We're all ready to go if anything needs to be issued. But there's the area of circulation. You can see how that looks just a little bit different than everywhere else along the line. There's a little bit of a cell that's kind of nudged out ahead of the line. You can see that area of rotation that was pretty persistent that the Weather Service was talking about. They're talking about how it looks a little weaker on INX, which I agree on the latest scan. There still is some rotation, but if we look at the rotation indication, still shows up just to the south of Chewy. So now this is approaching northwestern Adair County. So northwestern Adair County, the circulation is in your area. As mentioned, this is going to be tracking towards Watts. There's the latest circulation that's a little weaker. This is all just a shear boundary. Nothing is going to be number one. The UDCZ, it's still there, but it's not 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear of 30 knots or greater to line normal. So basically, to sum that up in layman's terms, this is not going to be tornado potential along the leading edge of the line. Look at all the additional storms that are popping up. None of those are severe, but quite a bit of heavy rain and maybe even some small hail coming down in the Waldron area. So yeah, right on cue, man. Look at that. So if your anxiety is through the roof, Lone Wolf, here's what you need to do, my man. You need to get Weather Call Next Gen because this will let you know if a tornado warning is issued and if it's in your area.
It's best to be prepared.
Yeah.
Don't be scared. Be prepared.
All right. So let's while we're here and while we're looking at all this, a couple things we want to do. And I don't know if, I don't think we have this actually as a quick data set, do we?
Not as a data set.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
But we need to throw it in there. Though.
Yeah, we definitely need to throw it in there.
Throw it in the show too.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in that severe weather hit that we won't need. I know. I hear you. There's just so much weather, man. Just got the extreme call from Next Gen. So, Mike, tell me where you're at and let me know where you were located for that extreme thunderstorm warning, because that's over the 70 miles per hour winds. So Southwest Missouri, you're going to be okay. Southwest Missouri, there's not much going on. I'm going to show you that here in just a bit. But before we do, this is the QR code that you want to scan for Weather Call Next Gen. You can get all these, essentially all these ingredients, all these things that can come together to keep you up to date with the warning, hyperlocal alerts, tornado confirmation calls, extreme severe thunderstorm alerts, and calls to landline phones. So that'll get you on Weather Call Next Gen. This is the time to do it. It only takes a few minutes to sign up. It's like basically signing up for many other things that you have, where you have to have username, password, all that fun stuff, and get all the latest information. So, all right, let's look at the large view. I know a lot of people are concerned about storms. A lot of things are happening. We gotta delete some of these. See, this is the thing when you have this severe weather setup, all this extra stuff you don't necessarily need, because the tracks are already old. But we will show this as far as surface-based instability. This will give you an idea of where that surface-based instability is. Notice how it's kind of lacking over northwest Arkansas, but it has increased quite a bit in southeast Oklahoma. So there's the thunderstorm fuel that's available, and you can see that kind of trying to lift northward. Regardless, here is the strongest storm that's beginning to move into northwest Arkansas. And so if we do an exact track on this, we'll do it from the INX radar. There's the severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, that is tornado possible, meaning that it hasn't prompted strong enough circulation to prompt a tornado warning. But remember, you got to watch it closely. There's also a flash flood warning that's until 4:45 that includes Delaware County. And as this storm starts moving into northwest Arkansas, we'll continue to track it. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take off all of these alerts. We'll keep the polygons on, but we'll take off all the information. And we'll draw a storm track on here.
42 knots.
It's way faster than 35. There's no
Oh, yeah,
way.
that's why I said 42.
No, yeah. Notice how it's kind of bowing out. We'll take that over the next hour to the northeast. So there you go with the overall, essentially, line of storms coming through. So Farmington, 158, Fayetteville, 204. We're still saying around 2 o'clock in the morning. Springdale 206 and Elkins 219, Seligman 223. So there's a look at your timing of this storm. Now, the most dangerous portion of the storm, here's what we're going to do. We're going to show an overlay of the most dangerous portion of the storm. And this is going to be in northern Adair County. And it's going to be tracking basically in this area. So a new timing is a pop-up. And this is the timing for that individual area of rotation. Notice how it's a much smaller area. Ooh, got a great view of the ragged base there coming into Lincoln. So here's a view.
A little bit, not co-located.
Yeah. Kind of falling apart. And when we look at the base of this thunderstorm, you'll notice a little bit of a ragged lowering. And there's a severe thunderstorm warning for everything. So Benton, Washington, Carroll, Madison, you name it, which is exactly the track that we have. I'm going to wait for one more shot of the base so we can see that. Not a great shot there. We want it backlit from lightning behind the base in order for the contrast. There you go.
There you go.
There we go. There was a great view.
That was great.
Pretty ragged lowering. Pretty ragged lowering, along with some well-defined scud clouds. So that's called scattered cumulus under deck. All right, so there's a look at the track. We're going to remove all the tracks. There's the newest severe thunderstorm warning. Giving you that information as we bring up the radar from SRX. This also has a tornado possible for Adair, Benton, Delaware, and Washington County. And it's considerable as well. Let's go ahead and just go on the air, huh?
Yeah.
We got a considerable storm. We've got a lot of what they call next gens going out now. No doubt about that, because of the severe thunderstorm warning that is considerable, meaning 70 miles per hour winds.
Go ahead and get a track ready before you do that.
All right.
Jump right into
That sounds beautiful.
Should I do the overlay thing you kind of did?
Hey, we're going to go on.
All right. Same kind of deal.
Yep. Okay, check this out. Yeah, check.
This is KNWA and Fox 24 Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff. The National Weather Service has issued an extreme severe thunderstorm warning for your immediate location for a storm producing hurricane force winds and or at least golf ball size hail. Seek immediate shelter in a sturdy building and stay away from windows. Repeating, you are in the path of an extreme severe thunderstorm. Seek shelter now. This is a message from Weather Call Next Gen.
Yeah, there you go. So kind of shows you how it works. There's a real life example of how it works. And we do have the tornado possible. Now the rotation is weakened somewhat. So here's the deal. We're going to jump on. We're going to do TV coverage, and we're going to continue to do the stream as well. So that was me talking to myself. All right, so stand by. Live coverage coming. Storms are moving in. Let's get to it. Are they ready?
Ready? All right.
All right, stand by. Let me go get my iPad. Are these TVs on here? Yep. All right. We're all good?
All good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, stand by. Hi, everyone. Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff alongside meteorologist Peyton Langford. Well, we've been doing a live stream for about 2.5 hours now.
Right.
And now we've got storms that are moving into northwest Arkansas. Now, you'll notice I'm wearing the tornado tie. We've got some storms that aren't quite reaching that tornado potential, but we do have a tornado possible severe thunderstorm warning that is including a good portion of northwest Arkansas. At this point, people are getting woken up by their weather radios, by Weather Call Next Gen that's calling them. And we got a lot of people on the live stream wanting to know exactly what's going on. So why don't we dive into it? You'll take us through a storm track. We'll look at Mega Doppler. We'll look at the most suspicious area for rotation. And we got a visual on this storm as it comes into western sections of northwest Arkansas. You got it. So, and Peyton, you've been covering storms almost seems like 24 hours now.
It seems like it.
As we had storms this yesterday morning.
As far as this track, the longer portion you see, that'll be for the severe weather threat overall. However, you see that little isolated, little darker shade, a little narrower cone. That is for the area of circulation that we've been watching over the last little bit, just north of Tahlequah, and now it's slowly pushing into northeast Adair County and eventually into southwest Benton County. So the track they see on the timing for your screen, that will be for that very narrow cone. West Silent Springs at 1:35, Silent Springs at 1:38, so just about 3 minutes later. Gentry, not until 1:44, then High Fill at 1:51, X and A 1:55, and about 2 o'clock in Centerton. And overall, we've been talking about the bigger portion of this line pushing into around Fayetteville. So encroaching I-49 right around 2 o'clock. So you have about maybe 25 minutes before you start seeing some of those stronger winds. And again, as Dan mentioned, we do see that considerable severe thunderstorm warning on top of having that tornado possible tagged in. So we're definitely seeing some strong winds with this, as well as that little embedded circulation that we've been watching kind of maybe fall apart just a little bit, but we're still keeping a very close eye on it.
Speaking of a close eye, let's go ahead and we'll look at weather 2 because we've got a view of this base. This is from our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera. This is why these cameras are so important. And this is PG Telco WeatherBug Network camera. That's the base of the thunderstorm off in the distance. We'll kind of move the camera around. We've got this time-lapse recording, and you will see that a little bit of an enhanced lowering as this leading edge of the line moves in. Now, what's going to happen with this line is this is going to be the basically the start of the stronger wind. So it's going to be kind of dead calm right before this moves in, kind of like what people experienced this morning or yesterday morning, should I say, Tuesday morning, shortly after 8 o'clock in the morning. We heard a lot of stories how in Gravette it got a little quiet and then the wind started to whip up. This is the leading edge of that line that you see, essentially the shelf cloud with lightning off in the distance. Now, if there's any type of enhanced lowering along that area, that's where we could see that rotation. But this is the storm coming into basically the western side of Lincoln. We're going to go to Mega Doppler. And Peyton, you're going to take us on a little bit of a Mega Doppler tour. So here we've got the severe thunderstorm warning. You see how it has a little black outline in the middle. That shows you a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. We're at 1:36 in the morning. This is down to the minute. So as soon as the basically new minute starts, we've got this time to the exact second as when the minute changes. But you'll see all of the severe thunderstorm warnings, including one that's tornado possible. Now, I will say this. Earlier, Peyton, this circulation looked a lot stronger. And there you see that bright green and bright reds that are showing up. If we go back in time just a little bit more, you'll see that area of rotation, which was pretty persistent. And now it's kind of started to weaken. This is something that we've anticipated just because we're lacking some of the ingredients to produce in terms of tornado potential. It's there. That's why I'm wearing the tornado tie, just in case something ramps up. But at the moment, it has looked like this has weakened pretty substantially. Nevertheless, though, still some strong winds coming in. So once again, getting another visual on this storm from our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera. We're going to bring this up. We're going to take a look at this base moving in. There it is, right along the leading edge. So but definitely what we call a surface-based storm. Maybe not necessarily, though, any type of wall cloud or rotation with that currently. But then again, it is kind of hard to discern this in the middle of the night. Nevertheless, lightning is on the increase. And there's other storms too, Peyton, that are occurring in parts of the river valley that we'll be focusing on as well, where they have a little more fuel, a little more instability. So that's our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera. Peyton, you've got a track on that cell. I see you've been doing that on Weather 1, and along with that severe thunderstorm warning, as we kind of give you a wider view on the radar to show you what's happening with these storms.
Yeah, I can go ahead and give you kind of a wider track, so to speak, kind of along the whole shebang. So go track it out over the next hour, moving towards the northeast. As you mentioned, Dan, yes, a little bit more fuel in the river valley because that area not as overworked. So we'll give you the next hour here. Again, this is going to be kind of spread out across northwest Arkansas as well as the river valley. So pretty consistent timing. Fayetteville about 2 o'clock in the morning. That's just in the next 22 minutes. Winslow at 220, Eureka Springs 233. And again, it will be probably pushing right along that I-49 corridor at around 2 o'clock in the morning. So if you're a little bit farther south, that's where we could be seeing that severe weather kind of.
Hey, bring up Lincoln camera. What is that right there? It looks a little suspicious.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is very suspicious. Hey, bring up Lincoln real quick.
Yeah, we got a Weather 2.
Look at that.
Weather 2 right there. So that could be that circulation that's associated with the storm. Again, sometimes these things can happen, and that could be a scud cloud, but that definitely looks like some type of lowering. It's at night. You never know. But you can see the base of the thunderstorm, and then you see something that's kind of hanging down, a little appendage. Now, we'll see if there's any type of power flashes that are associated with this. This is that Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera right on the leading edge of the line. That looks real suspicious. And we've got this recording, so we can basically review this and look back at that. But if we want to know exactly where that is located, Peyton, that is going to be basically entering extreme northwestern Washington County here shortly. And that's right along the leading edge of the line.
Yeah, I got a track on that.
All right. Yeah, let's keep up that camera. Show the radar as well. I want to zoom in on that. It could just be a scud cloud. It doesn't look like, there's any rotation associated with that I'm zoomed way in just to kind of get a look at that. But look at how fast it's moving. That
Yeah.
shows you the speed of these storms. So definitely something to look at. Probably a leading edge of a scud cloud. And sometimes the terrain at night can give a optical illusion, essentially like it's on the ground.
Right.
But really, when it kind of tops the hill, you see how high
Yeah.
it is above the ground.
Scary looking cloud.
Really,
SLC.
yeah, an SLC, exactly. So why don't we bring up real quick on weather 1, just in case you could get that track of the storm. That's the circulation area that we're looking at. It's entering extreme southwestern sections of Benton County. So our weather bug network camera in Siloam Springs will get a view of this as well, looking to the south. And we'll have other eyes on this camera as the storm is moving in. So we'll see.
Another track in southwest Benton County.
Yeah, we
Close to
could.
northwest Washington County.
Oh yeah, that's that cell right there that we were looking at.
Mm.
I'm still looking at that Lincoln camera. That was real suspicious looking, but never want to jump the gun too early. But you can see that circulation now, basically right on the southwest side of Benton County.
Yeah.
So if we bring up Mega Doppler, I'm going to bring that up real quick. On Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler, there is that circulation that's showing up on the south side of Siloam Springs. So here is the radar. This is the reflectivity image. We were looking we're looking a little northwest, and then there is that area of rotation. We're looking straight north from Lincoln. We're looking into the tower. So we know we weren't looking that way. But nevertheless, that was something to look at. Let's see if we've got another view as well. So it looks like it's gone.
Yeah.
As the leading edge of that storm moves.
Definitely is starting to push in though a little bit. I do have a track for what we were watching previously, and kind of what got us thinking about going on air was that little circulation in Adair County pushing the far southwest Benton County, kind of that area. If you're near that little kind of location, the Outreach Center Church, that's at 142. That's pretty much right now. Logan at 152, Pleasant Hill Church at 156, and the power plant at 159.
That is straight north. Look at this base. I've got this adjusted. You can kind of see how we're kind of manipulating the cameras. Weather 2 will give us a view of that Lincoln base right there.
Whoa.
So yeah, we've adjusted the camera.
Look how fast
It's moving fast. It's just like this morning, yesterday morning, Tuesday morning,
Yes.
with those storms rolling in.
Mhm.
They are moving really quick, and you're about to see this completely shrouded in cloud cover. So probably what we saw along the leading edge of this base was that line that's coming in. And after this moves through, we're going to lose the visual as winds and rain start to really crank up and pick up. And so this is going to be basically an area of rotation that we have to watch. It's not super strong, but remember, this does have a tornado possible, meaning that there could be something that touches down and touches down quickly. But right now, not prompting tornado potential.
And not only that, but straight line wind damage.
Yeah.
It's a considerable severe thunderstorm. Winds could be as quick as 70 miles per hour. So these will be some strong winds associated with this line. You see how fast those clouds have moved across the screen just in the short time that we've been talking about it. But definitely some strong winds with that. Watching any areas for circulation. But really some very strong winds with these fast moving storms. Saw them moving about 50 miles per hour earlier yesterday morning, about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So some really fast moving storms, Dan. These are moving across the area very quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to look here and see if we can get a view from Fulbright Junior High School, looking west from Bentonville. So this is going to be the base. We're going to want to shift this to the southwest if we can.
Yeah.
So we could do that real fast. We'll look at the Fulbright Junior High WeatherBug Network camera, shifting that to the southwest because we're going to get a better view of this storm as it comes through. In the meantime, now there goes the view of the base. Now you're going to see the wind starting to pick up and the rain that really starts to come down, trees moving in the foreground. So we've got definitely another rude awakening. It just seems like we cannot escape all of these storms to come through the area. And here we are at about 1:45 in the morning. There's the severe thunderstorm warning, 2:15. That's how long it goes for. Notice that tornado possible tag. We saw some ominous looking clouds, definitely surface-based storms, some ingredients that could briefly prompt up that tornado potential. Remember, this can happen sometimes with little or no advance warning. So that's why we're on it right now. Remember the storm on Easter Sunday, what came through. And now they've just updated the warning to exclude Northeast Oklahoma as the storm has moved out. So we've got a severe thunderstorm warning with that tornado possible tag for northern Washington County and parts of Benton County. We're on the air. We're streaming live on YouTube, on Facebook. Maybe you got the notification that we went live on this. We started our live stream talking about all the storms that happened Tuesday morning, the conditions that brought that severe weather and tornado potential from this morning when they did have a tornado warning, which was, by the way, issued shortly after 8 o'clock Tuesday morning. All these days are running together once again, but we're basically close to 2 o'clock in the morning. There is that severe thunderstorm warning, which is, by the way, was considerable. Looks like they dropped that now to 60 miles per hour. So they have weakened the straight line winds just a little bit. Let's take a look at our weather camera because these storms are going to move through quick. We're going to have brief views of the storms as they come in. And then next thing you know, they will be gone. And we do want to continue to watch those areas of rotation and see if we have any of that. Okay.
Like maybe another area that's trying to pick up.
We'll go ahead and we can
Let me go ahead and get a
kinda
better
bring
idea of the
that up.
storm
Yeah, there's the
motion.
base of the thunderstorm. That is from our Mount Sequoia Weather Bug Network camera. I bet you Posey Mountain is going to have a view of that base coming in. Look at the quality of that camera,
Yeah.
especially at night like that. Just
We can get Mega Doppler up. I'll show you kind of the newest area I'm talking about
yeah.
just a little bit.
So this is a weather 2
Yeah.
or weather 1. You can see the base, or you can see the leading edge of the line. There's the track of this storm coming through Pea Ridge at about 209, Seligman 222, Shell Knob 244. That's the area. And then here's the circulation. So Peyton, you were talking about this and point those areas of rotation out.
Yeah, so just this area of rotation that's kind of developed over the last couple of scans. So there's the one we were watching near Watts, move towards the northeast. It's kind of like it almost handed off a little bit and maybe is trying to develop maybe a new little circulation right there, kind of in the middle of your screen, right on the county line pretty much in far southwestern Benton County, maybe eventually clipping in northwest or kind of far northwest Washington County.
I'm going to bring up
well.
here in the background here. I'm going to bring up our Arkansas Children's Northwest camera. I want to point it to the west. Make sure that we've got a good view of that storm. So I'm going to bring that up, and then we'll bring it up for our viewers. So yeah, we do have it looking west. Obviously, this will be our next view that we have of these storms rolling in. And if we go to weather 2, here's Arkansas Children's Northwest. This is the new building that they're constructing. Arvis Ballpark off in the distance. If we would see anything, it would be off in the distance. Keep in mind, this was one of the older cameras, so the low light abilities are a little less. But there you saw a little bit of that ragged lowering just within that one lightning strike. Right here, you can see the base of the thunderstorm, a little bit ragged, and then off in the right-hand side, which is, by the way, where that new circulation is starting to ramp up. Watch that area above those brighter lights that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. You'll see a little bit of an enhanced base, a little bit of a lowering. And so, Peyton, I know we're probably getting a lot of comments on Facebook right now. We can't monitor them through the live chat. I know you're kind of searching through. I know people will be asking about individual towns, individual locations. Here's the deal. If you don't hear your location, that means you're not in the path of the storms right now. So there are other areas that are going to be impacted by thunderstorms at the moment in the River Valley, Scott County, southern Sebastian County. But this is the strongest storm of the morning right now on this Wednesday morning. And we'll see if we can get another good view here before we leave this camera just to get an idea. We'll go ahead and hit record on that Arkansas Children's Northwest camera too.
All right.
Yeah, there you saw a little bit of that lowering on the right-hand side. So what's the very latest radar signature on Mega Doppler look like? We'll bring that up here as I'm bringing up weather 2. So here along the leading edge of the line, now it looks like we've got the radar from Tulsa. Maybe that circulation weakened a little bit. Used to be right here, I think, just to the east of Siloam Springs on 412. Let's go back a few frames and see how that kind of evolved over time and started to started to weaken a little bit. So, and I don't think this has a tornado possible, or maybe it still does have that tornado possible tag. I know they downgraded it from a considerable severe thunderstorm to
I believe
60
so. It
miles
still
per
has
hour
that tornado
winds.
possible tag.
Okay. So let's take a look here. Let's do a one panel on Mega Doppler. We'll remove the velocity image. We'll zoom out a little more because we want to give people a big picture. A lot of storms popping up now, even some small hail that's developing in Franklin County, additional storms, but these aren't severe. It's mainly on the leading edge of that line, and the northern edge is where the strongest storms are. Also, you'll see here heavy rain that's developing. That will probably lead to some localized flash flooding. And on the southern edge of that stronger line that came through northwest Arkansas, if we zoom out, you'll see the wind report, 62 miles per hour, that was reported near Tahlequah from the Mesonet, about 4 miles north of Tahlequah. And there's that storm coming through. Now, we'll take another look here at our WeatherBug Network camera from the Fayetteville area. This is looking off to the west. You can see the line. See if we see any type of visual of this base coming in. So it looks like, as expected, Peyton, maybe the ingredients a little less over northwest Arkansas because of how our atmosphere was sapped throughout the day, Tuesday afternoon and evening. And hopefully these storms will be on a weakening trend. And that looks like that could be the case.
Yes, I think you're right there. As far as looking at what's going on in the river valley, I have radar scope pulled up on the phone here, just so I can have two radars at once. Maybe a nice little surge of those winds in northern Leflore County, possible southern Sequoia County. So probably getting a bit gusty right now down there near Fort Coffee. Probably surging pretty good right now. Some pretty strong winds.
All right. Well, I'm going to take this camera. I'm going to point it just a little bit more to the north as we turn the camera, and you can start to see that mounting pole that's off in the distance, along with some of the lights on top of Arkansas Children's Northwest with that reddish glow. But right here would be your essential lowering, but we're not really seeing a whole lot. And also notice the lightning has decreased pretty dramatically as well. So let's take a look here at that Lincoln camera that was actually shrouded in rain. Winds are a lot less. They're not as strong now. The storm's not moving quite as quick. So hopefully a weakening trend, and maybe we can even drop this warning and then go back to just our live stream without weather coverage. But such a busy morning. We know that you're being woken up by rumbles of thunder, along with maybe even a little bit of wind-driven small hail. You can see how fast those clouds are moving. Your alerts probably went off. If you got the weather call next gen alert, I did, as right before we started this live stream, or right before we started our live coverage. We were on our live stream for a while, but people are getting woken up in the morning, want to know what's going on, especially what happened Tuesday morning with that rude awakening. People don't want to be caught off guard again. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely don't want to be caught off guard there. I do have the latest track kind of for the northwest Arkansas portion of the storm, the one that has been, considerable severe thunderstorm, as well as the tornado possible tag. So we can go ahead and take that full weather one full, and I got that latest track here for you there.
Yeah, I'll step out of the way. You take us through that. I'll continue to monitor some additional cameras.
So again,
here.
Still pretty consistent, moving around 50 miles per hour, reaching Fayetteville just a couple minutes after 2 o'clock, maybe, probably approaching the west side of town here in just a little bit. Farmington pretty much almost right on top of you. Winds low at 212, sunset at 220. Huntsville in Madison County 233, Berryville 244, all the way over to Kingston at 252. That tracks it out over the next hour. So that just shows you how fast these storms are moving. It's reaching Kingston just before 3 o'clock. So that's over the next hour. So these storms are moving pretty fast, bringing those strong winds. And again, that considerable was dropped. So wind gusts could reach as high as 60 miles per hour, but they still have that tornado possible tag because there was that brief area of circulation a little bit earlier that we have watched since weaken a little bit. As expected, ingredients aren't as favorable across northwest Arkansas because of all the rain and the cloud cover and the little storm activity that we've seen throughout the day. That has limited a lot of our instability, or a lot of our fuel to tap in. As far as the shear profile, the change in wind direction with height helping out these storms, it was a little bit favorable at times, but it's not super helpful in helping these storms start to rotate. But we did see an example of one getting its bearings and able to rotate. So that's why we were cutting in and just letting you know that there could be some little areas of circulation that We were watching earlier, but now, Dan, not so much. Everything seems to be on the weakening trend, thankfully.
Yeah, I think this storm is definitely on the weakening trend. There was that persistent area of rotation, as you mentioned, that went through northern Adair County, was in Cherokee County. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at weather too. We've got the live radar winds on there, and this is an area that we'll have to watch. That's approaching the north side of Town. It's not super strong anymore, but anytime that line runs from northwest to southeast, that's where you have a little bit greater of that spin potential. All of this along the line that's running northeast to southwest, that's not the most favorable area for tornado potential. So this is the region that we're going to have to watch. Not only that, but also the potential for some gusty winds as well. Just to show you kind of what Peyton was talking about with the shear tracks, this is that persistent area of rotation as it was developing and then tracking into northwestern Adair County. And then it did tend to weaken as it encountered a little less favorable environment over northwest Arkansas, which is Peyton mentioning that. And then there's that area of circulation that tried to show up. We saw that moving eastward north of our Lincoln WeatherBug Network camera. Now let's get a little view outside as we check out our WeatherBug Network camera from Mount Sequoia. This is looking off to the west. Again, lightning not as abundant, not as basically constant as it was when these storms were in the river valley. There was some pretty highly electrified thunderstorm activity. You can see a little bit of that base off in the distance, something to watch. And if we look at our Arkansas Children's Northwest camera, now we're seeing a little bit more of that shelf cloud appearance. You can see kind of like what we call Arcus clouds, along with a little bit of that base off in the distance. Let's see if we can get a good lightning strike there. Right as I stepped out of the way, we can see that base moving in.
I went ahead and switched radars just because that area of persistent circulation that we were watching moved into a range-folded area.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be able to see that. So I did switch radars to the Fort Smith radar. It also gives an idea of how strong those winds may be in the river valley as well as this line starts to approach Interstate 49.
We'll look at that here in just a bit. I just want to get one last look. It's always at night, Peyton.
Yeah.
It seems like very rarely do you get a daytime shot of storms, but here we are again with another line coming through. It does appear that this has weakened considerably. It was a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Now it's weakened below that level, but there's that little bit of an enhanced lowering. So if you're wondering about tornado potential right now, not super concerned about that. We were earlier, which is why that prompted the tornado tie to be put on. But this is not a clear-cut case. So just having it on just in case. So I don't even need to switch it out in the middle of weather coverage. We would just want to be on top of it. So there's that shelf cloud that's rolling in. Occasional lightning, some gusty winds that will be behind that. But nothing too menacing along the leading edge of that line. I'm going to take the camera, I'm going to move it. You're going to see the pole in the distance, but this will at least give us a little bit of the view of that lowered base coming overhead. Pretty bright lights there. I'm going to see if I can zoom in and avoid those real quick. Yeah, not the best view of that. Obviously, they have to have those lights on for basically the airport. Springdale Municipal. FAA requires that. We'll look at here. Let's check out another camera. We can. This is from Huntsville. Now this is looking quite a ways west. We won't see a whole lot, but maybe some what we call sheet lightning off in the distance.
Yeah. What about Posey Mountain?
Yeah, Posey would have a good view. Let's check that out. So we'll look at Posey Mountain from our Rogers WeatherBug Network camera. And still not great. You can see the lightning, but nothing super major there. Still a little bit of area rotation. Rogers, the night camera, we might get a good view here from our Pinnacle Hills Promenade. And that is pointed to the southwest, correct?
Yeah. I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, southwest is what it looks like.
And you can see that lowering. Not like a wall cloud or anything like
No,
that.
no,
Just
it's
just
that
the
low
leading
clouds.
just the leading edge of the base. Yeah. Circulation is definitely weakened. There's no doubt about that. I
Water
see.
there.
Got to have that.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated is an important thing, so we can talk for 14 hours.
Oof. Yeah.
So severe thunderstorm warning does continue. This is going to go until 2:15. Wonder if they're going to prompt another severe thunderstorm warning. Probably not, the way this storm is weakening. So
Maybe just one more. Maybe.
yeah,
But yeah.
potentially not getting any reports of wind damage or any type of strengthening winds. But you can always let us know.
Right.
What we do is you can just comment on our live stream right now. We're monitoring those comments.
Download the app. Send them
Also,
through there as well.
Download
too.
the app. Yep, and then you can join the conversation. Also, too, if you get weather photos, any type of damage photos, you can get that by scanning the QR code and scrolling all the way down to the bottom. And then finally, weather call next gen. This is really, really important, because in the middle of the night, you want to know if you're in the path of a storm. Well, there's a lot of alerts that will give you, warnings based on the county.
On the county, but
Yeah.
it might not even be in my part of the county.
Yeah,
So,
hyper local alerts.
Yeah.
Really, really important. This will give you calls, text, emails to subscribers, tornado confirmation calls. If there is, let's say, a tornado warning and then it gets confirmed, that could prompt
good.
an
Really good.
upgrade, which could call you again. Extreme thunderstorm alerts, which is what we had earlier, with winds in excess of 70
Right.
miles per hour, and then calls to landline phones.
And one thing I really like is it gives you
Yeah.
the all clear too. So after everything moves out, if you're wondering, what's going on, maybe you drop out of power, drop out of cell service or whatever.
Staying in your,
They'll give you
your
a call.
Frady hole for a while, your
Mhm.
Hidey hole, your Frady hole.
They'll
your
give you the all
safe
clear. Come
place.
on out.
Yep, exactly. Because we might be covering the storm in other locations, and we neglect to say that. So let's check out here, see if we can get any views on Weather 2. We got our WeatherBug network camera. This is located from Pinnacle Parkway Towers. Not anything super scary looking off in the distance, but it is approaching, it is already 2 o'clock in the morning here. So we're 2:02 in the morning. Let's do another storm track on this. We'll take a look here at the very latest. As we're doing that, we want to show you here the amount of lightning, because that's another thing you're dealing with, is the amount of lightning that's out there, and our lightning counter. This will kind of tell you how much thunderstorm activity, along with the lightning that's popping up across the region. So let's take a look here at the radar, and you'll notice a lot more lightning in the river valley, but we're looking at 600 cloud to ground lightning strikes. Now we're at 659. And the amount of positive strikes, not as much as the negative strikes, which shows you that these storms are maybe a little weaker as they move in, because the amount of positive strikes are a little less. This, by the way, is for a 15-minute strike duration.
Man.
Yeah. You need something? You got something?
No, just seeing that's a lot of lightning, especially in the river valley. It's picked up. I do have that newest track. Kind of while you're zoomed in there. Great segue. It's pretty much the exact
Let's
view
go
I
ahead
have.
and we'll take a look at Weather 1 here, and Peyton, take us through that storm and show people where this is headed.
Well, it's coming in right across I-49, pretty much right now, parallel to it, right a couple minutes after 2 o'clock. It's almost exactly what we've been saying. It's like pretty perfect timing, Dan, that we've had over the last, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Pretty good there. Elkins, Elkins at 217, Seligman at 224, Huntsville 235, Marble. Now we got some people watching in Marble 245, and then Berryville at 246. Again, moving at around 45 to 50 miles per hour. This will start to slow down maybe just a little bit, but that's why I said it'll be within that 45 to 50 miles per hour range. Not a whole lot of hail with this as well. However, Dan, you mentioned the River Valley very briefly, kind of on the side when they had you pulled up on the wall. I was looking at maybe a little bit of pea to possibly penny-sized hail in the River Valley, or at least the eastern part of the River Valley.
So once this warning gets dropped off, we'll continue our live stream. I do want to show people, there were people commenting about the severe weather threat for later today, which, by the way, we're not done yet. We have additional storms possible. Let's real quick go to Weather 2, and this will show us the severe weather outlook for today. Now, this is valid after 7 a.m. and goes through 7 a.m. Thursday. There is a enhanced risk, level 3 out of 5, That does not include our weather coverage area currently, but it is just a little bit south. You'll notice Northwest Arkansas has been removed from the slight risk, but it is included in areas of Washington County and farther south. Let's look at all the individual threats. Here's the tornado potential. This is again for tomorrow afternoon. A little bit more increased in the River Valley. That makes sense. And look at the hatched area for tornadoes, which could be some significant tornado potential in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So maybe you're doing some traveling tomorrow, or should I say later today, and this could be increasing over I-30. So a little bit of a dangerous corridor there, I-30, I-20, east and northeast of Dallas. Let's take a look at the wind damage. I've already looked at this, but you will notice that potential for some strong winds over parts of Northwest Arkansas, and especially in the River Valley. And then finally, that hail potential looks to be greater for some of those isolated storms. So I think with the boundary drifting south, a little more focused on that energy farther south in the southeast Oklahoma area, northeast Texas. Keep in mind, though, 8 a.m., this risk will be upgraded, well, basically updated, not necessarily upgraded, but updated. And I don't think I see much change for the Northwest Arkansas area. However, I do want to mention this. We still have a flood watch that's in effect, goes through 7 a.m. Thursday. If you haven't heard about this, this covers basically every single county in our weather coverage area. But we still have for 9 more minutes this severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 2:15. That includes the cities of Bentonville, Fayetteville, Rogers, which, by the way, it's right on the doorstep now of Fayetteville and Mount Sequoia.
Heard some raindrops in the station.
So we're starting to see that. Winds picking up in the foreground, but probably won't be exceeding severe limits, I think, looking at the latest.
Thinking on weather too, I'm gonna pull up in iDrive Arkansas camera. Not many folks out on the road, but I mean,
yeah, that's a good idea to see how
never
heavy
know.
the rain is coming down on I-49. But looking at that mega Doppler source, here's a look at a little bit of a wider view with thunderstorms popping up. This is transitioning into a heavy rain threat. So now we're starting to see some heavy rain potential. We are seeing a little bit of a rotation there that's popping up just to the southeast of Fayetteville along the leading edge of that line. We'll have to watch that. And there you kind of see it, but just nothing super major. Set to the storm motion. Set the motion to the storm, to the warning here. Yeah. And there you'll see a little bit of that area along the leading edge. So this is that broken, you can see some cells on there. This is not a super solid line like it was earlier. Still, though, heavy rain, though. We've been focused on that. We're talking extremely heavy rain potential. And by the way, we have now transitioned into the day one for rainfall. And you will notice, as you'll see here, well, it's not quite updated. The day two has a moderate risk all across the area. So I think flooding is going to be a very, very real threat. Okay, you've got an iDrive Arkansas camera pulled up. We'll go ahead and we'll bring that up full here. So a little bit of rain coming down. Not a lot of people traveling in this early in the morning.
not too heavy.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Josh Drugger here on the road just a little bit. That might be him flying around the corner there. But yeah, some pretty slick roads. So be careful out on the roadways this morning, especially later on today and this afternoon. It's a great kind of segue into the heavy rain threat that is this afternoon with an afternoon round of storms, which we'll definitely maybe talk about just a little bit more on our live stream here whenever this severe thunderstorm warning expires. But heavy rain. We could be expecting maybe 2 to 3, maybe even 4 inches possible. Locally, higher amounts could reach up to 6, maybe 7 inches possible with this heavy rain. So that could lead to a little bit of localized flooding, especially with areas that have seen a lot of rain already. The ground is super saturated, can't hold any more water. All the rain that comes down later on this afternoon will be runoff, and this will quickly inundate any small creeks, maybe even inundate some small rivers. So we'll definitely have to watch that closely. That's why you saw we're in that moderate. That is a 3 out of 4. That is almost the tippy top of the scale as far as excessive rainfall. So this will definitely be transitioning into a heavy rain event. We saw one not too long ago, Dan, where we had some pretty widespread flooding kind of
Yeah.
scattered throughout the area. So I guess scattered flooding, but
That was
definitely saw a
April
lot of heavy rain.
April 1st through the 4th.
Yeah.
We had a lot of rain, which, by the way, so far we're the second highest rainfall ever recorded at Drake Field in the month of April. It does not beat 2011, which was over 15 inches, but the way we're going, we may be surpassing that as we have one more day here left in
Yeah.
the month, and we could get a lot of that rain today.
We need 4 inches. and
Yeah.
that would push us over the record.
This
for the
is
rain.
already dumping on Drake Field right now. So
Mhm.
we've got a lot of rain coming. One of the things I've been seeing on the stream, and I totally get this. Hey, when can we go to bed?
I'm asking the same thing.
Yeah, I'm at where we are. We're asking the same thing here. We'll be doing the handoff with Josh pretty soon. But let me tell you who can be saying nighty night and
Sleep tight.
adios and good night and sweet dreams. That's going to be Western Benton County, Western Washington County. So why don't we go ahead and we'll take a little tour. So Gravette, Decatur, Gentry, Sulphur Springs, Maysville, basically you're done. All the storms have moved east. There won't be any additional storms tonight. They're on the leading edge of the storms. That's where that greatest rotation is, and it's gone. It's moved out. Anywhere along the I-49 corridor now, you're already seeing the storms. Storms are weakening, so you can go to bed anywhere in basically central Benton County. You'll still see some thunderstorm activity. You'll still hear rumbles of thunder over Beaver Lake and eastern Washington County. But this warning is about to expire, and honestly, I don't see them continuing this as it moves eastward, considering how it has weakened some. But you'll still hear rumbles of thunder. You'll see flashes of lightning. We'll be streaming this storm as long as it prompts it, essentially. But basically, you can go to bed anywhere in Benton, Washington County, even in Fort Smith, Cedarville, a Natural Dam, you name that in Western Washington County, Western Crawford County, areas of Fort Smith and Charleston. And really, honestly, a lot of you can go to bed. You don't even have to worry about these storms. This is not something super major. We were on it earlier because it was looking a little more menacing. That rotation was showing up. Now it has since weakened. Just to show you, too, what we're talking about, I'll bring up the radar here from Tulsa. There's the flash flood warning that's in effect. You can see that, which includes northwestern McDonald County. That's going until 7:15. So we're going to have alerts, probably more additional flash flood warnings. Here's one until 4:45 in the morning. That's for northwestern Delaware County. And then we work our way south, and you'll see additional storms in the River Valley prompting that heavy rain potential. I'm going to go back just a little bit. We'll take a look at this area of rotation. And so here's where it was starting to get a little bit more significant as that line pushed in, kind of making a little bit of what we call a bow. And so that bow right there is essentially what caused, let me remove all these warnings on here real quick. And we'll go back in time here and we'll take a look here at this radar. So there's the storm. If we look at the velocity too image, and we'll go back in time on this as well. Here's where that circulation was really, boy, you can really see that rotation that was a little stronger. That was shortly after 1 o'clock in the morning. And then obviously that has weakened. It's gone. It's dissipated. And that's why that storm is no more. But that really shows you how that rotation was ramped up quite a bit. Lost the 0 to 3 kilometer instability, lost the ingredients, and that storm has weakened. We got a few more minutes here on that severe thunderstorm warning before it expires, which will end our weather coverage on air, and we'll just continue to do this on live stream for a few more minutes, and then we'll probably drop off and hand this off to Josh as we get ready for the next round of storms in the morning. So before this warning drops off, Peyton, let's go ahead and we'll take one more radar tour on Mega Doppler. A little bit of small hail now popping up, very close to, there you see it right there, just north of Mountainburg. This is going to be just a little south of Winslow. This is not severe hail, but some little bit of heavier rain, along with some hail cores. Highway 23, the Pig Trail, south of St. Paul, a little bit of a small hail core. That's close to Cass, by the way. If you remember Thunder on the Mountain, there used to be that musical festival that happened in Cass. That's located right there, the Thunder on the Mountain grounds. South of Ozark, you could see some of those hail cores as well. And those are just real small, nothing super major. but it shows you that these have the potential to produce some heavy
Warning
rain.
is dropped.
There we go. So that's going to basically end our weather coverage live on the air, but we are going to continue to talk about this. So if you want to join the conversation, you don't feel like going to bed yet, you're a little concerned about storms, or you're a night owl, join us on our live stream on YouTube, on knwa.com, also on Facebook and the platform X. Keep it here with your weather authority, and we will keep you advised of the latest. All right.
Someone said rip thunder on the mountain.
I know. Thunder on the Mountain used to be a banger, man.
Really?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Maybe they can resurrect that. Warning is dropped. Timothy has a question mark. I have a question mark too.
About the scary looking cloud.
That was interesting.
I was
dude.
like, what?
Yeah, didn't jump the gun.
It looked similar to like my first tornado that I saw.
It did. Yeah, but I want to look back at that. Let's stop the recording on that camera.
You can bring it up in now. We want to.
I don't think, yeah, no, definitely.
That was sus.
I was like, what is that?
Clouds are scraping the ground.
Rogers is safe to sleep. Nighty night, sweet dreams. Springdale's good to go to bed. Just go to bed, everyone.
All right.
I know.
All right. Well, let's take a look.
I
at this.
knew these storms would weaken, but of course they had to scare us.
Hey, do you think they're good in there?
What?
In there?
Let's not send them yet.
8 o'clock.
What? Whoa.
This was set for like 8 o'clock.
What, yesterday?
It's the 30th.
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta zoom out.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, you're recording, right?
Yeah, I was recording.
There it is. This weather needs to get, yeah.
Nasty shelf club.
Yeah. Go back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just zooming in a little bit more.
Gotcha. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna show this. This is it's stormy on the interstate. Well, Josh Rugger coming on in. Gonna do the handoff.
Did you say that while driving?
What in the world is that? Dude.
Here, I'm gonna go back a little bit farther before it
Yeah.
developed. Whoops.
I don't think I had it on there. Yeah, there it is.
All right.
All right. Now, right there, there's nothing there. Is it playing?
No, not yet. Give me a play.
Yeah.
Now it's playing.
All right.
What's on the right side of your screen?
Right side by that white, by that red flashing light, right where our camera is.
So it's coming in just behind it, whatever it may be.
Whoa. What in the world is that? Is that a tornado?
It looks like it's rotating a little bit. No power flashes. Maybe a little bit of a wall cloud. Can't tell.
What?
What in the
That
world?
was sus.
Of course, we're seeing it blown up on a big TV in here.
Now this is where I'm like, huh? Peyton? What is that? That does look like it's there's motion to it.
I don't really see Scud move quite like that.
No.
I also don't see
But-
a tornado move like that.
But I also don't see any power flashes. This is, by the way, recorded. This is recorded. What in the world was that?
All right, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been where it was.
No, I was looking northwest there. Dude.
Dude, wait, hold on. Let me go grab that one frame.
Okay.
Did you see that like kind of one frame?
Was there a flash?
No, but it lit it up pretty well.
It could just be a scud cloud.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look like. Yeah. Now, what time is that?
Almost 1:40.
Okay, 1:40.
Maybe that.
Yeah, it would.
So that's the best. That's where the flash, where it's backlit.
Yeah. This is not live. This is recorded. So this is
Yeah.
this is about a little over a half hour ago.
Of course,
And
the
this
storm
is
motion
this
isn't
is
right
what it
now.
looked like on the radar.
The storm motion is not right anymore. So we have to get new storm motion.
Well, let's do this. Well, there's the circulation. That's exactly where it would
That's where we're
be.
exactly where we're
north of
looking.
Summers. Oh. Yeah. That might have been something.
But there's like nothing there.
Well, but that doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
looking at it from Fort Smith. And it's parallel to the radar beam.
No. What I'm saying is, I was looking at it from INX.
Yeah,
But
but this isn't.
I'm saying there's no power flashes. Like, is there? How many houses are over there? Not a ton. It's a pretty rural area. you know?
Well, it's very close to Cincinnati.
Yeah, right on top of Cincinnati, actually. Yeah.
So I don't know. Let's go back to that again. Let's analyze this. What do you guys think, man? That's like, come on.
Can we go like half speed?
Yeah, let's see what that is.
Can we go back to here?
I actually want you to go quite a ways. Yeah, go back. I actually want you to speed it up.
Speed it up.
Yeah, so you can see the rotation.
Like
Go to like
4.
four times.
I'll do it from back.
Whoa, okay. Did you see that? It
What?
looks like, look, that's debris that look at the left side.
Left side.
Yeah, the left side of the red light
Oh yeah,
at the bottom.
I see. That might be the skid cloud. I
So
think.
that's getting pulled up. Watch.
You think?
Yeah, play it.
4 times speed. All right?
Mhm.
Then go fast.
Yep. Look at it. There it goes. It's getting pulled up.
Where is it, Scud? You know, Scud gets pulled up.
Yeah, that's the wildest scud cloud, man.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Look
That'd
at the
be pretty
motion
wild.
on that too. But then it doesn't have the appearance of a tornado.
But then at the very end, it
It
looks like it's.
does. Yeah. Tightens up. We might have to enhance that image.
Image enhancing.
Now I zoom way in on it. Oh, that's moving all in one direction. I don't know. That's definitely an enhanced lowering. And then, look, you can see almost like what's called inflow
Yeah.
into that. And then we zoom out. That's along the leading edge.
Mhm. It would be in the part that is balanced.
That would be.
Dude, what?
All right, one last look.
You go back.
Yep, go all the way back. Keep going. What is that? See, when I turn it, look.
It's already there.
Dude, that is so weird. That could be scud,
Or it could be debris
or it could be debris.
that's being lofted.
But would debris be that thick already?
It could. Can we see the radar? Yeah, there's nothing really to see right now. But this is here's what I want to do though. I want to go back in time. That's interesting. So this was, by the way, if you're looking, this was north of Lincoln. So I'm going to show you where Lincoln is. If you're watching from another location in Northwest Arkansas, or maybe you're watching from some other place not in Northwest Arkansas,
I'm gonna look and see if anybody said anything.
I don't think anybody else has a camera like we do.
I mean, into megaphone. Well, if someone's out there,
Oh.
Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah, maybe. But see, that just doesn't look. It could be winds that were getting picked up, but
Real spectrum with.
it's definitely going to be balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, see this velocity image just doesn't look right. But what time? 140? That's it.
Yeah.
138. You can see a little bit of a stronger circulation near Watts. So that might be where it is near Watts.
Go to 140. See, there's a second one. Just northwest of Lincoln, where we were looking.
Yeah, I see that. Right
Surely.
right here. This doesn't even have the right storm motion number. Right there
I don't think there'd be a CC
near
drop. It's
Cincinnati.
too far, right?
It's too far, yeah. Let's look at this with the velocity with this. So here's our Lincoln camera right here. Lincoln camera is basically looking northwest.
Mm-hmm.
There's the rotation. And now we'll go back to the camera that we have for the recorded stream. And this is the start of the, you see, I'm going to point it out to you as it loads up. Oh, wrong one.
Try to zoom in or put it up on a TV, whatever you can. Help us dissect this.
So I'm going to show you here. Right here, it looks like there's something that's starting to get lofted. And right here is where this starts to come down. So watch this as we put this into motion.
What speed?
2 times.
2 times. Okay.
2 times. All right. That's getting pulled up. And then it just totally connects. It goes behind that tower. And then look at the motion on the right-hand side of the,
Yeah. Looks like
And
a
you-
sidewinder.
and you can almost see. Now I zoom in on that because I'm like, Peyton, what's this?
Yeah.
I think it might just be a scud cloud because this is what this is what it looks like, because when it's got that little tail right here, that
Yeah.
curl,
Mhm.
that just is not what a tornado looks like.
No.
But boy,
It almost looks like it has a funnel coming out the side. On the left side.
right here is where that looks a little more suspicious. But if that was a tornado of that size, that would at least cause some type of
Yeah.
damage. And then I zoom in, and you can't. For some reason, you can't see it on that.
Yeah, there's a lightning flash that I want to get.
That comes up right there. When I zoom in,
Well, it was right as you started to zoom out.
see that just doesn't. Yeah, could just be strong winds too. I don't know. Not sure. Not sure. That's it. That's obviously a little sus though. There's Peyton controlling that. This is from earlier. Yes, we would not be like just going through this. This is from 1:40 in the afternoon or 1:40 in the morning. It's 2:30 in the morning right now. No, I got you. I know, but we said multiple times, Nicole, this is recorded. So I don't, I get it.
Anything there?
What?
That you got it paused and a lightning flash.
Okay, this is not live. This is recorded. But there's a flash right there. So it's at 1:39 and 52
Not
seconds.
a power flash, but just lightning to
Yeah.
illuminate it.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a little bit, but if you look at the rotation, it's definitely there. And it's the strongest out of everything. Look at this. Remember, this is not live. This is just archive radar. Even though it shows 2:32, that's the current time. There's the circulation that's looking northwest from Lincoln. And then look, it just kind of dies out, which is exactly what that does. So let's continue to play that and speed it up to 4 time. Not live, just recorded. So we'll play this through and we'll see what this does over time. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're zoomed in. You can't see anything. You can barely see it. Zoom out because you couldn't. You can see debris that's getting pulled into it, though. Like you can see cloud debris.
Yeah, on the right side.
Yeah. And then it falls apart. I don't know. That was sufficient. It could be a brief leading edge spin up tornado. Sure could be. Sure looked like it somehow. And then it dies. That's where it would be.
Yeah.
Right on the leading edge of that. So, anyways, you want to see where it is right now? It's all done. It's just basically garbage. This entire line is just trash.
There's a funnel. Sure.
Here's a look at Mega Doppler. All the stuff in Benton and Washington County is done. Go to bed if you don't want to stay up. Additional storms coming through St. Paul. Nothing rotation wise to be concerned about. Let's look at Huntsville's camera. Got some thunderstorms rolling in. There's the shelf cloud coming in. This is live, by the way.
Nice.
This is live. So we got live video from Huntsville. Just a heads up.
Record that.
Oh, nice shelf cloud. So the time is 2:34. We are looking at live video from Huntsville. And there's the base of the thunderstorm, making sure my camera is not covering up anything. Are you going to clip that? You should clip that. That was pretty weird.
Yeah.
Clip chat that.
Chat clip that.
Chat clip that.
Dude. What the heck? That's so weird. I personally have not seen Scud behave like that.
No. It almost looks like a little bit of a leading edge of a funnel. and then that's like debris that's getting tossed up. I just can't tell if there's rotation with
Because
it.
there it looks like trash. It looks like curved like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be the RFD. Oh, Jacob. Me as well, sir. Fury. You know what we need to do? We need to eat a big hamburger from what is that area? Whoa. What in the world is that? Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's you clipping it. Okay, never mind. Hey, what was the name of that place that has the big burgers in the River Valley? Man, what was the name of that place? Come on, Jacob, don't let me down. The big hamburgers in the River Valley. No. It's a super big in Fort Smith. I'm gonna look. No, it's not Patrick. It's not Butcher Boys.
Oh, in Fort Smith.
Yeah, what is that one place?
I feel like it was a place Kyler was telling me about.
Is it called?
Kyler and I were talking about this. Oh, she was here.
It might be called Ed Walker's.
Yes, that's it.
Ed Walker's.
You said to
Yep.
go there and get the prime rib. Like
Ed Walker's. Yes, Ed Walker's.
French dip.
Ho ho! Get the big bad boy, Ed Walker's. Yep.
Kyler told me to get the French dip.
Bro is talking about hanging. I'm hungry now, man.
Yeah.
No more severe weather, just to be clear. We wouldn't be talking about hamburgers if there was.
No.
But flash flooding potential. I think this is starting to wind down so much, in fact, that we're not even going to do this live stream anymore. All it is just a big cluster of rain. That's all it is.
Lightning.
Yeah, that helps the storm anxiety, doesn't it? When we're talking about Ed Walker's hamburgers,
Yeah.
they are so. Have you ever seen that one?
Mhm.
Dude, check this thing out.
Kyler has showed me.
Oh, look at this.
What's up?
Yeah, Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance
nice.
that's on here. We were just talking about you, as a matter of fact, in the control room. In fact, Michaela was. Michaela was talking about it. Jacob, we already got it. It's Big Ed. It's Ed Walker's.
Ed Walker's.
Yep, Ed Walker's. Not Big Ed's, but Ed Walker's. Which, by the way, it's a big burger. All right, y'all. I'm out. Hope everyone has a good sleep tonight. Same here, man.
Me too. I'm gonna need it.
Clarksville going to bed. Appreciate that, man.
Nice.
Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I saw you were on Ridiculous too. Ridiculousness. Yeah.
Oh, Rob Dyrdek's Ridiculousness.
He was on. No, he was on as the guest.
the guest like
to talk
host?
about the
Yeah.
different videos and stuff like that.
Nice.
that
Big
show.
Big Ed. All right, guys. Well, here's the deal. More thunderstorms are expected today. If these storms can clear out, if we get instability, we will see the potential for more storm activity during the afternoon. We will look at, by the way, the archived. We're going to look at the future track radars real quick.
Just to see what they're cooking.
Yeah, let's see what they look like here. Oh, get a midnight snack, man.
Midnight snack was 3 hours ago.
Yeah. Here's a look at more storms with the potential for some severe weather. We'll see how this really holds together. I'm not sold on it. How long until the thunder stops in Pea Ridge, Kylie? That's probably going to be in 15 minutes. You won't hear any more thunder. Maybe some distant stuff. Yes, we're going to look one more time, Trace, at the radar, and it is, let's just say, less than impressive. So why don't we start off with Southwest Missouri, some thunderstorms, nothing rotating at all, nothing strong, nothing severe. There's a look at Benton County, Washington County, done. Go to bed. Storms are over. Huntsville, yeah, you still got some storms rolling in, but nothing even severe. Here's a look at the shelf cloud rolling in, some rain that's popping up. I know it's loud in winter. I get it. There's no tornadoes. Check out Mega Doppler here as we work our way into winter. There's some thunderstorms, a lot of lightning, not even any hail. No rotation, no circulations, doesn't have the appearance of having circulations. Working our way into the River Valley, some thunderstorms in Franklin and Johnson and Logan County. We'll look at, let's go ahead and we'll look at our Weatherbug Network camera from Mount Magazine. This ought to be interesting. See if it's enlightening.
It went down.
No, it just looks like it. Oh, is it down?
Yeah.
No?
Just says
Oh,
disconnected.
it is disconnected.
Got struck.
Man. Like keeping kids in the daycare.
Like herding cats.
Appreciate it. Big Ed, have a good one. Zach is off today. Yes, he's off yesterday and he's off today. Oh,
Whoa.
some good lightning there.
What is wrong with the shading on the Boonville?
Oh, that's cool. It's met you and your amazing wife at an award ceremony.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
so funny at that
You told me
real
about that,
estate
yeah.
awards. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty fun. Scissor Tail in Bentonville at that neighborhood. Yeah, we do. As a matter of fact, I haven't done it in a while, but I do a storm spotting class. We'll do one in the fall. We're gonna do one.
When it's nice and quiet.
Yeah, I will update you on that. I'm kind of invested in that too. We'll check that out in Lincoln.
It's a head scratcher.
It really is.
It
But
looks bad, then it looks good, then it looks bad again, then it looks good. Yeah.
but to kind of catch Peyton's attention, going, what's this, man? It's like, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that downpour. Golly, it's coming down. All righty, guys. Well, 4 hours later, as we do just a quick live stream.
Famous last words.
Yep. Waldron, you're getting some heavy rain, but again, no thunderstorms that are of concern in terms of severe weather. So
Look at Lincoln again. Clouds are moving.
yeah,
Look how low those are.
really fast.
Man.
Yes, we'll be live again if storms threaten, which will be possible this afternoon. But all right, guys.
Just gonna do some laundry. I need a little bit of a break.
I know. I hear you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you. Denton, Texas is right in the bullseye of the significant severe weather later today. So be watching for that. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. Have a great Wednesday. Hump day. See ya.